We're live. Great. And the title says fucking AW on there. God, God damn it. Can I edit it? No. Oh well, we're live. Ignore the AEW part. I'll go into YouTube and change that.
I'm on it right now.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, I don't. This thing is just weird how it does it. But anyway, hello, welcome to an impromptu. The world's gone insane. Let's talk about it. And the reason we are doing this is because we suffered tragedy with Zam's birds. Three of them made a run for it, unfortunately. So I thought, well, you know what? It's 11 o'clock. We're still wide awake. Why not do a show to kind of help distract him from the tragedy? Because it's horrible. And cheers
I've
to. Sorry, Zam, go on.
no,
Cheers, man.
I'm like thank you once. Yeah, I've kind of come to terms with it. Like they're gone. I
Yeah.
still got Juicy. She's sitting on top of my cage right now. But the
Still,
rest of them, they're gone.
still the original remains. Still here. She's
Yeah.
probably, like we were talking off screen, she's probably loving being solitary again. She never really got on with the others. But it's a tragedy. It's the only solace is that they're free as a bird. Uh, ha- they're not dead, so make of that what you will. But it sucks, dude. I feel your pain. But I said what I told you in the comments that so years ago I had this neighbor. I think it was him and his two sisters that were living in this place, and he had this gorgeous red parrot, big fucking thing. And he'd bring out in the garden in a cage, and so I just kind of got to see nature and all of that. But obviously inside the house, never had a cage. Then one day he was drunk, and so he accidentally went out to the garden, left the door open, the bird flew away. And so obviously he was devastated. I could hear him screaming and howling and all this kind of shit. And I think, oh my god, what's happened? He talks about his bird. Then found out a couple of days later, as somebody knocked on his door, said, "Oh yeah, I've got your parrot at my house. You just come to shag my one." So thank God, I've got eggs in my fucking house. Oh, it's so funny. But he was lucky, He managed to. Hey, phony, I thought you were going to join us. Um, but yeah, so because apparently when he was out in the garden, he could hear the other parrot, so they just went there
Hell.
to shag her brains out.
Yeah.
Only little mensch.
Booty call.
Yeah, it was a good neighbor, man. I miss that guy. It was funny. It was like just always getting pissed in his garden. Did you see the what? Larian Studios was banned from
Who the
TikTok
hell's
for
that?
bestiality, vampire bear sex. What? I don't even know
What
who
the
that is.
hell? I'm too scared to look it up in case we get fucking banned. You know what I
Well, I
mean?
mean, I'll have a look, but don't kick me out. Okay, let's see. Larian Studio is Belgian. Sorry, go on, Zam. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I saw I've seen a bestiality porn clip once and never again. It's just not for me, man. I saw this girl getting fucked by a dog. And I thought that's it. I'm done. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Oh,
It's like-
It's the Baldur's Gate law. Holy shit! Oh, okay. So it's a Baldur's Gate 3 lets you have sex with a druid in bear form. Is that it?
well, you know what I saw? Yeah, I saw a clip of Stewie from Family Guy making out with Brian the dog, and that really I thought that was fucking weird. You
Eh,
know,
that's just down to Seth MacFarlane's provocateur humor, though.
but
That kind of stuff I'm not that fussed about.
I want to know when that clip was made because like Stewie is trying to seduce Brian the whole fucking time, and then finally he finds a reason to seduce Brian by saying, quick, we need to make out, or the world's going to be destroyed, or some shit like that.
Jesus
And
Christ!
that's what I thought. Fuck me, man. You got a baby and a fucking dog. Even though it's animated, making out.
Yeah, fucking Family Guy. I've never been a big fan of it. Fuck
It's
Ramstein.
very
What did
it's
Ramstein do now?
hit and miss.
Meg's done
That
it.
was a
Brian's shagged a lot of human women on the show. Okay. hit me. I preferred American Dad. I always found that funnier.
Really,
Yeah,
the other stuff didn't work for me.
yeah. Oh, fair
Yeah,
enough. Yeah, that's fair enough.
yeah.
Um, so that's quite.
I did like Robot Chicken, by the way. Robot Chicken was good.
Oh, Robot Chicken was
Seth,
fantastic. Oh, I love that.
yeah,
Seth Green. Uh,
Seth Green and Seth MacFarlane were both in that.
yeah, that's because it was Seth Green's show. He created it, and he'd bring McFarlane in because obviously a family guy. Because Seth Green plays
Hmm.
the son Chris. He does a voice for
Yeah, yeah,
Chris. Well,
yeah.
Robot Chicken's fantastic. Yeah, love that show. But again, that ran its course like about four seasons in. Hey, hey, yo, oh,
Speak
there we
of
go.
the devil has shown up.
Hello, Mr.
I mean,
Devil.
that's what
So why?
his
What's
hair's like that
Rammstein
behind
doing?
his
I
horns.
don't even know.
I'll be on here a little bit, but I don't know how long I'll be on there.
Well, if
Who
you
the
want to
fuck
get
is
something off
Ramstein?
your chest, mate, forget Rammstein. If you want to talk about what you've been going through this week, this is what it is. It's an open forum. It's a platform for people.
It's not a pity party. I don't want to do that.
It is
Huh?
a bit of a pity party. Trust me, I've lost my birds, man.
It doesn't.
All right.
It's not. Listen, you need to talk like when it comes to mental health. Hey, cat, no, no. I've just changed my sheets. Go away. I've just changed my sheets. I'm not gonna have your hairs all over here. Fuck's sake. I've just hoovered like a bunch of hairs. Go on, Gary. Sorry, mate.
Sorry, man. Okay. I've just been going for a bit of a rough time. Just like I think it's just that I've let things go more than I should have, and this is one of the things I'm like,
What? So what has been like the cause of the what has been the several things that have caused this your issues of late?
right. So basically, what it is it's down to a couple of things. Like it just like I was speaking to somebody on Facebook. Somebody who lived in a different part of the UK, so he wasn't probably going to work out anyway. But he was still. I went straight from that to speaking to someone else on OK Cupid, and then they kind of stopped speaking to me. So that they had that, and plus, like, he just seemed to think like I never seem to do things right at work, and it's just like, and because I wasn't dealing with this in a healthy way, and plus my sleep had been on a bit of a shitty downturn. I think it was just like a perfect storm almost.
So it's so you was talking to two women basically. You're saying,
Yeah,
and that didn't kind of work out,
no.
and that affected.
Well, yeah, because even though I don't like using the word dumps, because I think dumps in real life, I think it does cause you to think is there something wrong with me. Well, it caused me to think that, and then doing shitty things that like it just seemed like I was making loads of mistakes at work just because I just
Because
seemed up.
you couldn't
And
focus.
well, I don't know. I hadn't really been sleeping well, and then like it just felt like the nothing I was doing right. It was just like building like a flaming.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I've likened it to like you put in like a massive jug under a tap,
Yeah.
little bits, and it's one of those things that because I've not sorted myself out, I've not been getting the support I really needed. So
Yeah.
kind of things have like poured over, but I have done proactive stuff to get to sort it out. Like I phoned up 111. Sorry, for those who don't live in the UK, basically 111 is the non-emergency NHS stuff. I phoned them up about it, and they reported me to like a Scottish health service thing. They followed me up today, and they said they're going to like follow me up over the next couple of weeks to make sure that I'm okay, and to kind of put a plan in place to kind of like get me out of where I am at the moment. The guy I spoke to today emailed me over like a plan of stuff to do, like an exercise to do. Like it's basically like a version therapy where you tap part of your body, you tap part of your body and stuff like that.
I know. I know that kind of stuff because like, because when I went through a huge breakdown in 2015, And I was very lucky because I was given free mental health service here, and then, like I said, like they give you like a tasks to kind of follow, and it does work. Like it really does work. Obviously, your life is not going to get better, but it's a good preoccupier to kind of help you cope and manage things. So I'm really hoping um, that it does work for you. Did you have an outburst or a meltdown, or what
No,
was it?
it was just I felt like
Or
my head was
breakdown?
going to explode. I just had to get out of there, and I've never had that before.
Yeah. So did you quit work, or have you just
I,
taken
I,
time
I
off?
did no, I nearly did. I basically just got up in the middle of shift and just walked out.
Fair enough. That's a healthy thing to do, though.
I'm a boss, and my co-workers phoned me up to make sure that I was okay.
That's good.
I said something to my boss that I shouldn't have done. I basically blamed somebody who's my co-worker who'd been trying to help me. Now they're a bit stern, but they're a bit stern in the way that they do it, but they are trying to help me legitimately. It's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
I,
Have
I
you have have you gone back on what you said about to clear it up with your boss about the co-worker thing, or
yeah.
you
I've
have?
told her that it's not. It
All right.
was my issue. It wasn't theirs. It's just. And I think that they can tell that because basically I was basically more or less sobbing to them over the phone basically when
Yeah.
they thought this phone up because I basically just snapped.
Yeah.
I
So
just snapped.
is it the factor of loneliness just getting to you now? Is that what it is? Do you mind
It,
me
it could.
asking?
I think it's a lot of factors to be honest with you.
Okay.
I don't want to put it down to X, Y, or Z. I think it's down to the fact that that I don't have my family up here. They're kind of like, and if they say this, they're going to say, "Oh, why is Gary making a more?" It's just, it's not a mountain. It's like it literally like it felt like my head was going to explode, and I'm scared that I could be a danger to myself or somebody else, and I don't want to be that because at the end of the day, everyone has the right to feel safe and to be safe where they are. You know what I mean? So they did say that they're going to probably try and put me on beta blockers to see if they can help with my anxiety and
Okay.
depression issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what the guy. That's what last night is. Now, by the way, if anybody's going through these same issues, I'm nobody special by asking for help. I knew that I needed help because what I went through wasn't normal. Isn't normal. So go out there and get help. I'm just saying because the thing is that people would rather you go and get help, even if you think you're pathetic and silly, like I do.
Yeah.
You're not
But
pathetic because you're not.
you always the thing is always know that you should never feel like you're useless or weak for seeking help. It is literally the best thing you could do. I've been there. I've been
Mhm.
suicidal on a couple of occasions where I wanted to take my own life. I still suffer with depression, anxiety, but I have my coping mechanisms, and my coping mechanisms, I found them through therapy. And it's not, your nephews or all this kind of stuff. It's literal coping mechanisms, that tasks that you set within your own mind to kind of help you get through the rough patches. And I can never, ever, ever recommend counseling enough. I think it is one
Mhm.
of the best things you could do. And if you're not working, I can't speak for the rest of the country, but here where I am in North London, because I wasn't working, my sessions were only £15. And again, I was lucky because my brother was kind of paying for those. Um, but my sessions were £15, and I did it for 8 weeks, and it helped tremendously. And before that, my brother was paying for my sessions before I knew I could get the cheaper ones as well. But they was really good, and
Yeah.
one was a hypnotherapist. Now, I don't believe in all this kind of stuff, but she knew I didn't believe in all this stuff, but she still gave me these excellent coping mechanisms to kind of help bring bring you out. And the thing is, it's like you got to really focus on one or two positive aspects that happened within your life, especially when trying to sleep, and just focus on that, like laser focus on that, and eventually you break other things, and it just, especially with sleeping, that's how I always, that's why I don't suffer from insomnia anymore, because I use that coping mechanism. And but there are the tasks and all this kind of stuff that the counselors set you out to do, and targets to meet, and all of this. They really do help, and I really fucking hope that it works for you, Gary. Um, but and I always say sometimes you have to come to an acceptance of certain things. And one of those acceptances has to be loneliness because of how the world is today and how shitty things are and how difficult it is to form relationships with people. Uh, the first thing I did was accept loneliness. And since then, I've been a lot happier and a lot more focused on just getting on with life. I don't enjoy life, but I just fucking I get on with it. And yeah, it's hard, it's brutal, but that's the reality. But and always make sure that you have an outlet to kind of vent. Even if you want to come on here, just turn on the fucking camera and vent. Use it. It's a good outlet to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
'cause the thing is that I was seeing enemies everywhere. That was, I think, that was my anxiety ramping up. I just wasn't
100%.
realizing.
Yeah,
But I didn't realize I didn't see the warning signs, and that's the thing that I'm kind of upset with me about. That the warning signs were there, I just wasn't. But they've been there before, you know what I mean. But I never
yeah,
had that experience. I think it's one of those things that it's a problem that's been there for a while, but I've been ignoring it. You know what I mean?
yeah. But did you know what it was before that though?
No.
So you didn't, but now you understand what it is, and that you're not unique in that situation. It happens to a lot of people. People do kind of don't realize what it is until at one point something happens where it's like, okay, this isn't normal. This situation isn't normal. What is going on? And that's when you find that you seek help and you realize, okay, this and this.
Yeah, I
And
mean, my boss phoned me up yesterday, and I said to him that I was thinking about quitting. He said, "Please don't do that. Think about it and stuff like that." And like, I'm really glad that he did that because I think that even though, sorry, I don't want to spell too much, but I think it might be a good idea that I move on because I think that maybe I've made myself look to be a bit of a weirdo there with everything that happened yesterday. Because I just literally was looking at my screen one day. I literally I dealt with a student and I literally just got up, got my stuff, and then went to my boss, wrote a note for him, and then buggered off.
yeah, yeah, but
I was like,
that's the healthiest thing you could have done. What were you going to do? Stay at work and have an outburst? You don't know how people never know what happens. You could either have an outburst in that you just collapse and have a meltdown, or you have a violent outburst. You never know. Though the violent ones are a lot rarer with people with mental health issues,
they happen.
they happen. And so the best thing is to just walk away. You know. Um, I was very fortunate where I was working because where I was working at the time at the day center, the students being, autistic and all over the place was a good distraction for me. So it kind of helped me go through it as well because just enjoying their insanity, and I mean that in a positive way, was a good distracting factor. But if you're stuck in an office and all this kind of stuff, sometimes there is just isn't that luxury.
Well, I mean, as I said, and plus the thing is, that I haven't really taken time off since the only time off I've actually took, what we wouldn't even call it time off, was about a week off I had for just being ill.
Yeah,
I've not really, and that was
that's
like
not really
3 years.
time off. Yeah,
Yeah, and I've had no. And that's the thing with me is that I don't take enough time off, and it's something that I do not like about myself. I should take more time off because your brain and yourself needs to decompress a little bit.
yeah, that's it. I mean, as soon as like work is crazy for me at the moment because it's very stressful when you're in a charity where so many people need your help. But as
Mm-hmm.
soon as September comes, that's it. I'm off for 2.5 weeks to do nothing because you need that. You always need a break, always. And
Yeah,
when
I mean, I've got 2 weeks coming up. I'm going to go to my family. I'm
perfect,
going to try and do some wrestling down in Scotland. Imagine someone
perfect.
down there. I just, I don't, I just don't know if I could go back there because I feel a bit shitty because I feel like the way I left wasn't the best. I mean, I wasn't violent or like slagged off people. I just feel like I gave people, you know, they were concerned. But I got like about
Are you
three.
talking
I
about the
got
family? Are you talking about your family back home?
no, they don't know about it.
Oh, they don't know about it. Well, be honest with them.
No, I don't want them to be concerned because my mum and dad are getting up there in age, and I don't want them to know.
Okay, that's up to you. I can't comment on that, but I would say it's healthier to kind of speak about it. But if you feel that it won't have a positive effect, then
Yeah.
that's fair
But,
enough.
but what I will say though is that like a lot of my manager phoned me, two of my colleagues, one of them phoned me, was the message me to make sure I was okay.
Yeah,
So
that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's really good. At least you got people that care, especially when you're up here and you're on your own, kind of thing.
yeah, and I think they could tell that I was agitated. So
Yeah.
and I was like,
well, yeah.
anyway,
Again.
let's talk about your stuff.
All right.
Well, I mean, just look. You guys. I've been a very open book in how I deal with what I do with my life. I've talked to you many times in private chat. I have an urge to shag, and I get it out of my system by paying working class women to do the deed that needs to be done. Because also at the same time, that once I've got it out of my system, I love my own time and space. I love my isolation from the rest of the fucking world. I love it, and I love it so much that the idea of a relationship for me personally, to lose that would be very difficult. That's why a lot of guys in relationships have their man caves and stuff like that, because they want to get away from their fucking misses now and again and just be by themselves and play their fucking video games and have no one fucking disturbing them or no one shouting down their ear and stuff. So all I'm saying to you, boss man, is that if you do get your holy grail and you find someone, there will be elements of your single life that you'll probably want back again, because you're not going to get that when you're with a partner.
It's not tied to loneliness per se. I think it's just tied to the fact that I think there's something wrong with me. Because the work and the sort of like socialized things are kind of like be piling up of, I think there's something wrong with me, and it kind of just spilled over that,
I mean, look, I've said to you in the past before as well that one of the aspects of your personality that you don't realize, that I realize because I've worked in the industry, is that you're on the spectrum, and that plays a huge part in adding confusion to your situation. So maybe you should speak about that to see like if you can get tested on that, because you'll find that could open a lot more doors for you in terms of coping mechanisms and understanding what you're kind of going through. Because for people that are possibly on the spectrum, that it's everything's a lot more confusing, and uh you know it's it's a lot more confusing, and it's a lot more like stressful and things like that. So that is one aspect that you could look into if you wanted to. But oh shit, that's volume just shot up. Move, what are you doing, you stupid? There we go. Anyway, I don't know what happened there. I'm just saying, like, you know.
I think personally, you should take a leaf out of my book. Shag a couple of hookers, get out your system. I know it doesn't sound ideal or whatever. It's a joke, whatever. Trust me, just give it a go. You don't have to do it religiously. Just get that out of your fucking system. You feel so much better. Honestly, a shag can fucking cure all ailments, man. It really can. You know what I mean? Seriously.
Well, I mean, it just released some endorphins and some like serotonin and stuff like that. There are certain drugs that do get only released when you.
Exactly. And honestly, like.
By the way, that's not a joke. That's literally. That is like.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
As soon as I've done the deed, like I'm like, all right, what can I focus on now and everything, and it's out of my fucking system, and I'm just.
Oh, he's frozen. Oh, we lost him. No,
I did kind of have plans after Indy, but I went straight.
Oh, now we can't hear you. There we go.
Yeah,
we can hear you now. Get back to normal.
Yeah, I was gonna see a hooker after thingy, but I just went straight back home after Indy, and then yesterday it didn't pan out because once my birds were gone, I didn't want to do shit.
Yeah.
So
have you done just to intervene a minute? Have you done a review for Indy 5 yet?
No, we could talk about it today. We can have
We can talk about it today.
we can
Have you
talk
seen
about
it
it
yet?
today.
Right. So yeah, sorry people, we're doing a bit of a heavy chat today, just because like, and I didn't want it to be all about me because the thing is that Sam's going through a bit of a rough time. As
Oh,
well,
don't
'cause
worry, it's not all about you. We're only half an hour in, son. We're 25 minutes in, mate. It's gonna be a little bit about everyone. Well,
Before
except for me, I'm all right. But
you know, what,
yeah,
I
it's a good
wanted
place
to
to vent.
actually before we actually go into indie, I was actually hoping to talk about films generally. Yeah,
Yeah,
because this is
okay,
something
that's fine.
I wanted to bring up because I think personally the era of the blockbuster is over, in my
I
opinion.
disagree.
I think all right, give me a chance, boss man. Yeah, I mean, I think like obviously you are going to get films that are going to do really well at the box office, but for me, like the last real blockbuster that that I think people will never forget and has left a lasting legacy is probably Avengers Endgame, in my opinion. Yes, I think obviously Far From Home and No Way Home did really well as well, but like I don't feel like there's specialness in movies anymore. Like movies used to feel special and like they had this element of like, okay, this is going to be momentous and it's going to leave a lasting legacy. Not since Endgame have I experienced any of that in the last 5 years or whatever it's been since that movie. Um, I'm not getting that anymore. I
4
think as
years.
well we're
Yeah.
getting I think we're getting blockbuster fatigue as well. There's just too many movies coming out at the same time. And people can't in this day and age, people can't afford to see multiple films. I think the disappointment in films as well has made people not want to go see them anymore. Like Indiana Jones 5 should be a surefire hit. It wasn't. Flash should have made $1 billion. It didn't. It's ridiculous. The only film recently that has made any money is Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. All
And
these other
Mario
films,
Brothers, that's the highest grossing film this year, baby.
which is yeah. But I also think
Great film.
streaming services also are playing their part too, because people are willing to wait.
Hmm.
If within 2 months a movie that's gonna, which was on cinema is gonna be out on streaming services, then people will do that instead. But they're paying for streaming services too, for fuck's sake, a whole bunch of them. And so I do feel like these big. I think, for instance, I think Mission Impossible will do all right. It's coming out in July. It's a little bit separated from the rest of the stuff that's coming out in June. But and
It'll
people
do
want to
about
see Tom Cruise.
600 million, which is
Yeah,
expected
yeah,
with that franchise.
But
and people are paying to see Tom Cruise jumping out of windows or whatever. But
Here we
go on,
go.
boss man.
No, it's just Ease of Access who wants to go to the moon.
but here's what I think is happening. I think what's happening is that I think you're right that I think it's fatigue, but I also think it's that people have kind of been burnt
I'm
by
going
kind
to
of like
lose my kids.
a kind of like just I don't want to say like crappy movies, but kind of just there. They're kind of like they know what movies they're going to get from Marvel. They know what movies they're going to get from DC. And people,
That was part of my
people,
argument too, boss man.
people, especially now because people are going through a cost of living crisis, people don't have disposable income to go to the cinema 4, 5 times, 6 times a year. Like, I mean, you look at ticket prices back in, I don't know, like 1990 or something like that.
That's 30 years ago.
Yeah, so I mean, but
33 years ago.
like even if you don't,
Guys, you don't even have to go that far back. You can, sorry to interrupt, but you can literally go back. I said it before. So Cineworld, where we went to see Indiana Jones, it was £15 a ticket. The Odeon, which is where we went last time for Black Panther, I couldn't get the cheap days. No matter which day I booked, it was always, and they were £16 or £18 at the Odeon. Now, when Iron Man came out, it was still expensive back then, but it was like £8 to watch a film. In
Double the
15
price.
years, we've got double the price. That is fucking insane. The more Disney's consolidated power, because it's mainly the Disney films that are the most expensive ones, you can watch an A24 film for a lot cheaper than you can a Disney film. And then on top of that, when we went to the cinema, Zam ordered a small popcorn, small drink, £10. The biggest factor in the blockbusters not being as significant as they once were, the biggest factor is it's the streaming services. It's 100% the streaming services. It's ease of access. Why do I need to go to the cinema when it just Fast and Furious 10 in not even 2 months that film was available on Peacock or on Peacock or whatever platform. It was available on streaming.
Yeah, because like
It's not just
that.
Sorry, boss, but we're not just that, but we're also getting streaming services bringing out their own blockbusters like Extraction 2 or that Red Line, whatever, with
Exactly.
Ryan Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds and The Rock and Gal Gadot. That film was.
The thing I've been thinking. Go ahead.
Sorry, boss. Let me finish my thought.
The Red Notice one.
Yeah, the Red Notice. That's it. Red Notice. Like streaming services are also bringing out their own blockbusters as well. I mean, Extraction 2 was pretty good. That film could have easily been in the cinema. You know what I mean? And
you've got the big
streaming service.
Let me just interrupt you just briefly because to your point, and you've got like the big Zack Snyder epic that's cost like 250 million, and that's just on a streaming platform coming out. Sorry, guns out. But I'm just saying, like, you know.
And then at one point during the pandemic, we did like Disney in a way, or like the films that were supposed to come out on cinema, they were doing this special box office paying scheme where you watch Black Widow on their streaming services, so people could watch it that way, which is totally understandable because they want to make that cinema money. I get it, you know what I mean. But people are so used to now being able to watch all these films at home and wait very little time and all of that, and they're paying for streaming services anyway. And as I said earlier, I think the movie spectacular is just not there anymore. Very rarely do I come out of a cinema and feel, wow, I've seen something monumental. And I think, like I said, the last time it was Endgame. It's been a long time, since we start seeing stuff that make it feel special. When you hear about a film that cost $250 million to make, you think to yourself, wow, that's going to be a really good fucking film. Now it's just whatever, you know what I mean? So what are they cost $250 million? Every film costs $250 million to make. You know what I mean?
But this is the problem that I have, is that like you've got people that are named directors, as your whoever else, like your Ari Asters, I'm trying to think of guys like Finches and stuff like that. They could make like a medium-sized movie. What I mean, like something like for 30 million or something like that, or 40 million, because these guys know how to work on the budget because they did it so long, and they could just make like a small horror movie or something like that, something that will be like a January movie or like an autumn sort of like Halloween movie. Not every film you make has to be this gigantic like blockbuster. And the thing is that this is because what I'm talking about is like the film that you two were just talking about, Indiana Jones. The reason that series happened was because one film that Steven Spielberg lost his shirt on, was it 1941 or what I say?
Yeah.
Which basically tanked. Tanked.
I like that film, by the way.
It's a good film, but it flopped big time. It was a huge flop. But it's a good film.
Yeah, but apparently, like that really hurt his status in Hollywood. So basically, he went back to basics and said, "What
he
movies
needed Jaws."
He said, "Right, what movies do I love?" And he loved those like sort of Hollywood shots of like guys going on like The Rocketeer and people doing something.
Alan Quatermain and all of that. Yeah,
that's a huge influence. That's what I mean. So why doesn't like a Christopher Nolan, who says he loves like cinema so much, why doesn't he go make something like that? This is something that I actually like Quentin Tarantino for. He will make like a little indie weird sort of like movie like that, and I want more directors to do that. I want more directors to think, right, let's not budge up the blockbuster movie, because I think if like it went back to the way it was, where it was like maybe 6 tops of blockbusters, I think a lot more would succeed, because it's not so taxing on your wallet for one, so therefore you don't have to pick and choose. 2, you're more excited for it because, and 3, these directors get to be more appreciated because they've made something that's a little bit more, and maybe it's in a genre that maybe doesn't get talked about more. I mean, like, when's the last great comedy you can think about, or when's the last time you can say that was a really good horror movie, well made, that scared the bejesus out of me? And that's the thing, that these directors can do that. And Christopher Nolan has talked about the fact that he wants to do a horror movie. Chris, if you listen to me, make a $30 million horror movie, it'll do great for you.
I want to say
On the thing on the
here.
comedy, like seriously, the
Yeah,
last good
it-
fucking comedy I watched in Hollywood was probably What We Do in the Shadows, the film.
Yeah, that's 2011, mate. No, 2014.
14, yeah,
Well,
14.
A couple of things here before I forget. Even subscriptions like AMC Movie Club and stuff only get you 2-3 movies a week, where Netflix and everything else gets you 100 plus. And actually, the funny thing is the polar opposite with Netflix, because you're swamped with so much stuff you don't even know where to begin to look sometimes, and you have to
Yeah.
rely on word of mouth. But I don't know. Sorry, before I forget, boss man, like I think also as well, people think to themselves, like when there's like a $300 million budget, $1 budget on a movie like The Flash, and then you see the special effects where Christopher Reeve and what's her face, Supergirl actress, they look like cartoons. Yeah, Helen Slater. They look like bloody cartoons. You know, Nicolas Cage looks like a cartoon. The only good special effect in that movie was the fact that both Barry Allen's
in some bits, in other bits, if you look at some of the clip shows that people talk about, it looks really bad. The effects.
I guess. You know, but at one point, it looked quite seamless to me. So in a way, I almost forgot that they were. I almost forgot that they were the same person. Please, let me finish, boss man. But the point is that when you see stuff like that, even Indiana Jones, like with the aging and stuff, like people are seeing these humongous budgets in films when it comes to special effects, and the special effects are really shit. Now, Avatar: The Way of the Water has set the bar as tremendously good special effects, and nobody's reaching that level right now, and it's ridiculous. What are you spending your fucking money on? You know, if this is what $300 million is giving us shitty special effects, then what the fuck do I need? I do need to watch that. And then also at the same time, you're getting amazingly good movies for like $10 million, like The Raid or The Raid Redemption. Yeah, which is absolutely something like we're talking action movies at a level that Hollywood can only fucking dream of. You know what I mean? And these are done by independent filmmakers with no budgets whatsoever, no famous actors, small locations, fuck all in money, but great choreography, people who give a damn about the craft, practical effects. Oh my god, you know, how have we forgotten about those things?
Love practical effects.
Yeah, all of these things. So, like, I think like there's kids in their basements who do better special effects than movie fucking studios right now. It's incredible. Like what we're getting for our money is real shit in every department when it becomes the story and the look of the movie. And I said the films just do not feel special anymore. Yeah. I mean, there's moments when you would watch something like Jurassic Park, you knew you were watching something special. The Matrix, you knew you were watching fucking something special. You know, those moments are gone. You know what I mean? Those moments are gone. You're never going to get them back as well. So,
yeah, boss man.
Sorry, boss man.
Before I chime in,
No, it's fine. I was going to say, but the other thing that people are taking into fact is that TV has really pushed the envelope of what can be done, because we've literally had Breaking Bad, which even if you don't like it, is a phenomenal series. Even if you don't
Game of
care
Thrones,
for it.
dude.
Game of Thrones.
Fucking,
Even if
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, Sopranos,
Stranger Things.
I'm trying to think.
We know what you mean though. Like,
the storytelling is better over a series than it is in a movie.
In TV, it just seemed to be very like episodic and stuff like that. It wasn't until like Breaking Bad started to do episodic where it was a character study. I was like, well, and then that was I think Sopranos kind of first, but kind of I think
Sopranos,
The Wire, they were kind of like the two.
I never got into The Wire by now.
The Wire was brilliant.
Deadwood and stuff like that, and it's just like
Deadwood, Deadwood, that's another one.
Yeah, and literally all these things that are pushing the envelope, but are still pushing the envelope. I mean, we've got TV series now where literally we're having. I started watching one on Prime where it's literally like Sweeney Todd, but it's set in like basically in a Hispanic community instead of like in a white English Victorian sort of community.
Yeah.
And like I mean, and how creative is that? Like, and it probably has a budget that's like 1/3 of like the movies that Zam was just talking about with the cartoon flaming spider.
Yeah. So okay. So there's a couple of things I want to chime in on. So firstly, you hit the nail on the head in terms of the TV stuff. So what does the TV show need to grip the audience in? It needs good storytelling. You don't get
Fundamental.
that in blockbusters. You get mediocre writing, you get bad, basic, by the numbers storytelling that is churned out crap. So people are more savvy now because of the golden era, and this is why I get, because the thing you have to look at Hollywood as a whole and how it ticks. And what it is, it's just a bunch of corporations that want return on profits, and they use data analysis to kind of churn out a bunch of crap. And what do we see time and time again? Every fucking film is the same. Disney are notorious copy pasters with everything. You can date them back. Every genre that they cover, you can date it back 30, since the Mike Eisner period to now, and you can see that everything follows the exact same premise. The Disney Princess stuff, the Pixar stuff, their their
Grumpy old
film,
men.
yeah, all this they follow the same story, the same premise. And that's just why I always say you have to appreciate the Russos for what they were, because even a lot of the MCU stuff was very copy paste, but the Russos, they had a lot more pull and they were able to kind of steer away from a lot of the garbage. And this is the fundamental problem that Hollywood is ignoring. They're ignoring how much more savvy the audience are, and they can tell from the trailer if they're gonna bother watching this fucking film or not. The first thing you see when the Transformers trailer dropped for the recent one, Rise of the Beast or whatever it was called, you go to the comment section. What do they all say? This is exactly the same as all the other ones. Why do I need to watch it? This is no different to the other ones. Oh, look, a young kid that we have to follow who navigate through the thing. Why does it focus on humans? Godzilla versus Kong, focusing on humans. Nobody wants the fucking humans. Okay, bad storytelling, bad optics by Hollywood, and now
Expendables 4, man. My
look how
God.
bad that looks. It's
I thought I was
awful.
watching Expendables 2 and 3. Like,
Exactly, no different. John Wick 4 felt too much of the same as well. I didn't like John Wick 4 at all.
Really?
So I was like, I've seen
You're
it.
in the minority on that one.
Oh, I know, but I've seen it 3 more times already. How many more gung fu fights are they going to have within the film? Like, I found it boring as hell. But that's the point is they're not breaking away from. They think, okay, this is what made it successful. Let's just stick with this. It's like you need to add that a little bit more because audiences eventually just, they just have enough. They can't be asked with it, and Hollywood is just too myopic to understand it, and they have the evidence in terms of their own TV shows to show you what audiences want. You just listed all these amazing shows, Gary, and people get enamored with them. We saw the MCU, what they built up to up until Endgame, and the conversation it was having among audiences and how it gripped people, and everyone was part of this. They lose that immediately because they're just a bunch of myopic, brain dead, non-artistic accountants who are running Hollywood, and they're putting the profit before the art. If you put the art first, the profit does come. But when you want every fucking film to have $1 billion return, you're always going to end up fucking up and falling short. There are so many flops. Like Paramount, prime example, and I said this for years. Paramount was a ticking time bomb. They've only got a few years left before they have to sell up. They're not making profits. All their films are god awful flops. They have no direction within their film properties. Mission Impossible is quite literally their only film that is making them money. All right. And secondly, what are the two films? Okay, so what are the films that have stood out the most this year? Is it Guardians of the Galaxy? No. Is it Flash? No. Is it Indiana Jones? No. The films that stood out the most are the ones that intrigued the audience from the trailers. Spider-Verse, Mario Brothers, Barbie. The Barbie hype is unbelievable. Why?
Yeah.
Because they took a premise, and again, this is credit to Margot Robbie and the director, because they took the premise and they said, we are going to bring real life elements into it. We're going to make it surreal and farcical, and it's going to intrigue the audience. We're not going to do the by the numbers crap. And Barbie looks, for me, it's one of the top of my list of films I must see because it's surrealism, and I love surrealism. This is why I love like Wes Anderson stuff, because although you're going to get a kind of the aesthetics of his films are always going to look wonderfully samey and kooky and all this. The story, you never know what you're going to get with it, but it's always kind of fun and intriguing. Although he's resting on his laurels a bit too much now with what I've heard about Astro City, but it's just been that. It's been Barbie, it's been Spider Verse, and it's been Mario Brothers. They're the standouts. And your big Oscar-winning epic that is standing out for everyone is Oppenheimer, because these look intriguing. Nobody gave a shit about Indy 5 because it was by the numbers generic, and you could tell there was studio interference. Nobody gave a fuck about Transformers. Nobody gave a fuck about Fast and Furious 10. They don't care. They've seen it a million times. So add that to the price of going to the cinema and the convenience of streaming service. I'm coming to there now, Gary. You've got the collapse of the blockbuster coming, and they're going to have to adapt and change budgets and rethink their whole model because it's just not working anymore. It'll only be one or two films per year that are really going to fucking make that $1 billion, like we have with Mario Brothers, for example. Anyway, that just Gary, before we go, I want to go comments first. Yeah, you can't make a movie anymore without having to worry about how much money it makes in China. That is a whole.
That's if you're making a big budget movie for sure.
Yeah, that comes with a whole can of worms and restrictions and all of that. And we've seen again the quality of writing and how that's taken a plummeting because it has to appease to the kind of foreign audience. It has to keep everything a bit simple. But again, they're underestimated.
It's three rules, isn't it? No gays, no blacks, no shitting on communism.
No blood. No blood, no skeletons as well. Going to the movies involves dealing with people, and they're the worst. Well, we're lucky here in the UK. Like where I live in London, people are very respectful when we go to the film, so everyone knows that we all paid a lot of money, and so everyone's usually very fucking quiet.
Well,
so
honestly, personally, watching it the times we did on a weekday,
that helps.
It helps because right now, personally, this Barbie film, I wouldn't mind seeing it, but knowing that we're hitting the summer holidays now.
No, I'm not actually. I was joking, man. I don't actually not gonna go see it in the cinema. I was joking with you.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
I was thinking about it, and don't get me wrong, I'm fine not seeing it.
We might.
I'm not seeing it as well.
Yeah, no. I mean, it comes out just a couple of days before the schools break up, but no, I'm not gonna go see it in a fucking cinema, mate. 15 quid a ticket is just ridiculous. Gary, sorry, mate.
I was just going to say, well, the thing is, you've got another two problems that we haven't brought up, which is the commodification of the storytelling, which is like they have like A, B, C, D thing of what these stories have to be. Like, for example, if we wanted to do let's say, for example, us four, including like Shredder and all that stuff, wanted to make a Marvel movie, we could pretty much knock it out because we could do. It's going to have somebody have something extraordinary happen to them. It's then going to be there's a weird villain who's all weird, and then there's like some sort of mentor figure, and then and that's literally like the Marvel template that I literally lit out. And that's literally like 7 movies. But also the other thing that I think movies got away from is where is the small budget film that turns over like $100, $200, $3 million? Like you look back to, I mean, like Actually, I was thinking about this the other day because we were talking. I was talking to somebody I work with about the Blair Witch Project. You look how much that costs. That costs like literally like I think 100,
That film is
200,
fucking.
200.
That film
You
is
look how much.
fucking bullshit, by the way.
No,
Yeah,
you
It's
don't
shit,
like
but
it.
it's not the point. It's the point is
yeah.
the other thing. I'm with you on that, but yeah, the point is on you get
It
that
turned
kind
into
of film.
200, 300 million off that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that
again, unfortunately, you see, because of the death of the DVD markets and the kind of
yeah,
physical cinemas, well, that all these play a factor in a lot of things. And
agree.
in that era, in the late 90s, well, in the 90s, what you had is you had a lot of fantastic indie studios pop up.
Agree, Vance.
All right. You had all of these. And then what happened? The fucking big corporations came in. They bought up all these bloody studios. And once again, they just homogenized Hollywood. They monopolized it. And so those kind of art house indie flicks that will come out and just blow people away. Now they just put on streaming services. Now they don't put those, they don't bother with those, putting those out in the cinema. You know, the only kind of studio that is holding the candle for the Blair Witch era type films and all this kind of stuff is A24. And I love that studio. They
Me too.
always churn out banger after banger after banger. And, you know, they make a sustainable amount of box office money to keep going. Though I have to double check. I'm sure they're pretty much fucking owned by one of the biggest studios and all of that. But this is the problem. The problem is it's the same what happened in the music industry. Look at hip hop. Hip hop is a prime example. A bunch of black artists that came out and they started their own record labels, and then what happened? Universal Music Group and Warner Brothers just came in and swallowed up those small studios, bought them up again, monopolized the industry. This is what happens every time. Okay, it's the same with gaming. Gaming is the best example I could give to younger generations to understand how shit things are, because what's happened with gaming is the same thing with films. In the 80s, 90s, and all of that, it was very cheap. Open up a game studio, make fucking banger after banger after banger. The British games industry was one of the world leaders in original gaming, okay, in original style games. We led the world, us and the French. And then what happened is Activision, EA, fucking Ubisoft, all these companies, they came in, they bought up all these new studios, they pigeonholed these studios into making one particular game, and that was it. And then as soon as that game flopped, they shut that studio down. All right. And this is why we've ended up with the most generic shit. However, what is happening in the game industry now? Indie studios are propping up because the technology is there where they can make fun, short games for not as much money as they need. So now you're seeing the game industry is having a revolution in creativity. And there was a fantastic video on game, I think it's Games Radar, one of those gaming channels, where two guys were talking about why is it up to the indie games to push originality while the AAA games are just their games aren't memorable. You're not remembering them for the gameplay, you just remember them for the visuals and like a story. You know, they're not pushing the game. And I've been saying that for years. Like anyone that knows me, I keep telling you, gameplay mechanics, the number one thing, they don't push the boundaries like they used to during the Unreal 2 era. But now you've got these indie studios with Unreal 5, with Unreal Engine 5 coming out. The next couple of years, you're going to see a huge boom of indie game studios. And then what's going to happen? Probably Microsoft and Sony and all these fucking
buy them out.
Buy them out, and we're going to go full circle again. And with the movie industry, unfortunately, it's just a lot harder to kind of have this mini revolution because it's too much money and it involves too many people to kind of help prop these indie studios. So we're trapped. The only way out of it, sadly, is the use of AI. And that is a fucking ticking time bomb within itself.
I also want to say that sorry, boss man. I also want to add that I feel like what they're doing with movies now is they're making them glorified series. Like every films have are set up for sequels because that's what it is now. Because it's really difficult to get good quality storytelling in the space of 2 hours. So they want to try and extend that over a trilogy or whatever it may be. And
Well,
in order
everything
to get
has to be a franchise now.
yeah, exactly. You know,
Universe.
and the Golden Age of TV has had an effect.
G.I.
on,
Joe Transformers. Now they're
yeah.
crossing over. Nobody cared
Yeah,
though.
I mean, yeah, nobody cared, but you know, the Golden Age of TV has had an effect on movies now because you're never going to get amazing storytelling in the space of 2 hours, and even also like the clever films, like they're not clever enough. Like those films that make like those Usual Suspects and movies like that. You know, your Sixth Sense and Unbreakable and all of it.
Yeah.
We're not getting those anymore either. Like we're not
No.
getting anything. You know, like and the horror movies are a dime a dozen, and like and they're all fucking generic and bullshit.
Yeah.
You know,
It's because
like
of the.
fraternity girls fucking getting slaughtered by a crazy maniac.
Yeah. It's
Just
because
I'm
of.
done with
It
it.
seems to be about Ghost
Because of the
Story.
death of physical media, like people underestimate again. So I always say to like people always talk about the 80s and they're like, oh, the 80s weren't that great. I was like, no, politically the 80s was a shitstorm. But in terms of the arts, the 80s was phenomenal, like one of the best decades ever. Why? And well, two of the biggest reasons for that is cassettes, CDs, and VHS. The birth of home video, home entertainment, because that added just more box office value to a product, and so that kind of the birth of
And
home,
cocaine.
yeah, baby. But the birth of kind of home entertainment and all of that played a huge part because Hollywood studios could take a lot more risks because they know, okay, it's going to flop in the cinema, but it's going to make bank on VHS. These days, you can't bring out a film that's going to be a cult classic because people aren't going to buy the DVD and share that DVD around. Although people are going to buy that DVD and all this kind of extra stuff because the late boom of 90s cinema, when the DVDs came about, meant that studios could take that extra risk because they can add extras on the DVD to help boost the sales. But with that gone now, there's less risk taken. I don't blame the studios for that, but the problem is when you take less risks and you're just churning out generic crap and you're going by fucking algorithms and trends rather than originality and the arts, it's all just coming to collapse.
I agree. If you give me 1 minute, sorry guys, I just need to go charge my car. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Okay.
Go on,
Well,
Gary.
I was going to say, well, you make an absolutely spectacular point about the games industry because you look about like how many like indie game studios aren't just doing good well, but doing really well. Like for example, Dusk and Elysium Tale is a piece of art.
What is?
Dusk Elysium Tale?
Oh, Disco Elysium, you mean?
No. Dusk Elysium Tale. It's like from 2014, 15. Like More of Mine and stuff like that. And her story.
Mate, yeah, that's back then. But now there's like a literal renaissance in these studios.
Yeah, no. I'm talking more like, for example, like you look at Amnesia, the studios who do that, they're doing phenomenally well.
Oh, right, I get what you mean. Yeah.
So these like little studios are popping up. I think the same is going to happen for films where people are going to start making kind of like small independent movies, maybe like out, especially when with technology becoming more available, especially like drone stuff, better class of camera, AI, as you were talking about before. God help us when they start writing through
It's only sorry, Gary, but only with AI can I see the boom in an independent film thing. In terms of because it's too risky and too expensive to make films, and because people aren't buying physical media anymore, it's a dangerous investment. Like you've got to build a fan base up first before taking that risk. So I'll give you a prime example. I don't know if you know the YouTuber Ashens.
Yes.
Okay, so Ashen's the guy. For those that don't know, he reviews old technology or random stuff from like dollar stores, pound shops, that kind of stuff, on his couch, the famous brown couch. Now, over the years, he's built a huge fan base, and back in 2014, he took a risk, started a Kickstarter to make a film. The film was The Quest for the Game Child. All right, and that actually was a huge success. They got the funding. So because people paid for that film and they made the film, there was no loss there because obviously it was fun. It was crowdfunded,
Yeah.
but it made money as well because they had, the DVD to kind of sell and people bought it as extras and all this kind of shit. And then about 3 years ago, I think 2 years ago, he did a sequel, The Polybius Heist. And even I put money into that. I put money into that, and I also bought not the box set. I bought a whole thing because it came with like a bunch of accessories and all
A
that.
collector's edition.
A collector's edition. Thank you. But the point is, so it was very successful, and he did really, really well. The Blu-ray sales went to number one on Zavi, which I think it was where he was selling it all on, and all of this. And he did really well, but that's because he had an established audience, established fan base to take the risk to make the sequel. And it was really good. Both of those films are fantastic for what they are. But for up and coming filmmakers, because the other thing you have to realize as well, Gary, let's say for the UK, I can't speak for America, but that there has been severe cuts of funding to the arts. Okay, because if you're an independent filmmaker, you can, as long as you've got everything laid out, written and planned, and all of this, you can go to the, is it the BBFC or the British Film Board or whatever it is? You can go to
British Film Council.
Thank you, the British Film Council. You can go to them, and you can get funding for your film. They're not doing that as much now because they don't have money because the Tories have cut it. So there's that aspect to it as well. So it's very difficult to gauge whether there'll be a renaissance there. But with gaming, it's just a different thing because there's something physical, there's something there to sell that people are going to buy, because gaming is just that one area where people aren't expecting it to go on like a fucking streaming platform. So they have to buy it to enjoy it. Whereas with films, yeah, unfortunately, I just can't see it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the people who get crowdfunding for their films are people like who've got an established YouTube channel. For example, like the Channel Awesome people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for example, Linkara, the Video Game Nerd. I'm trying to think who else had a bloody movie. The Cinema Stuff had a movie.
Made a few movies.
He's making a movie. So the thing is that people are tearing down their movies. It's like these untalented cunts online that are saying, like, see how bad the Cars movie is. No, it's not. He made a better movie than you could. You're not making anything.
Movie?
The Cars movie, the Top Floor movie.
I
see that. It's decent. I mean, yeah, the special effects are great, but it's made by a guy in his house. What are you going to do? What
yeah. Hey, look, some of the shit we've seen. Remember that? What was that John Wick one we saw, which had us fucking
John Thick.
John Thick. Jesus fucking Christ! And that was beautifully shot. Well, I mean, we've seen some indie films that are beautifully shot, but again, they don't make money there. So again, you'll take a risk with that because it's crowdfunded, or you're putting your own money into making something that you love. But in terms of making something where you're going to get investors in to fund the film, to then get something back, it's too huge a risk. And
well, what they try to do, James, like we spoke to one guy, we interviewed one guy who made a particular family. It was a mockumentary, a mock Batman movie, and what they try to do, they try to make it on the cheap and then put it on YouTube and get the money through YouTube, through views. If they get 1 million views or whatever, they could easily.
The ad revenue, but that's technically they shouldn't be doing that because that's not that's infringement. That's copyright infringement, because if you're making, like, a fan film for parody or for, you can make a fan film, but you can't make any profit off of it. So if they get
Yeah.
caught, they're in deep shit. So he shouldn't be openly
So-
saying that.
So
You
many
know.
people, yeah. So many people are doing it as well.
So
That's
many
the
people are
crazy
doing
thing.
it, and well, I mean, look. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and cry for the big fucking studios. I say
I think
good
no,
on
but
them. I say
I think
good on
with this
them.
guy though, like, I think they might have connections with Warner Brothers. So
Good. Well, that's fantastic. No, that's
yeah.
great. But again, like, these people have money. If they get a couple of ad dollars for it, it's great. They're not denting. They're not denting the fucking profits of anyone. Okay, these studios are making what they're making. If they're not making, then that's down to their shit business model. But somebody making a fucking fan film, making a few $1,000s off of ad revenue, if that, it's not gonna fucking harm the world, you know. So yeah, good on them. And I think art is one of those things that, again, it shouldn't be so fucking controlled by corporations. There should be a bit more freedom for people to kind of dive into something that other people create and have fun with it, and get studio backing to say, okay, you know what, here's a little bit of money, go have some fun with this. Any profits made, we'll do a split. So as long as we make the investment back, and then we can share 50-50 after that, for example. And you'd find you get a lot more people that will be willing, and studios should do that. Studios, because they've destroyed the industry and they've monopolized the arts, okay, they should be funding indie projects within franchises, and that to kind of help diversify and bring things. So, prime example, although I don't like the Star Wars animated stuff, okay, Visions or whatever it's called, all right? That's a prime example of a large corporation going to smaller animation studio and saying, here's some money, make something. And they should be doing that with live action stuff as well. It's like, here's some money, make something. And I feel that could help renew interest in a lot of dying franchises.
I agree.
Especially with fucking Star Wars, which is it's like the buzz is just dying for it. Fast and Furious maybe, but who gives a fuck about that? Transformers, they could do something with it, So
Well,
yeah,
look at the Star Wars sequels. I mean, they were supposed to be special events. I mean, it's going back to what I'm saying regarding films not feeling special anymore. I mean, if you fuck up one of those films and yet they fucked up all three, then you got a serious fucking problem.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously they did well with the anthology films, but nevertheless, everything that they seem to come out with it's becoming quite generic and by the book and by the numbers, and it's boring as fuck.
Yeah.
And like nothing is leaving a mark anymore. It's really
No.
people are looking at like alternative stuff which is not franchise. Like some of the best stuff I've watched are not part of franchises. Yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, they end up becoming a franchise because they've been so good, on their own merit. But
and then you get studio
yeah.
interference, and then they just end up becoming bland, generic shite of what they were. Disney. No, go on, guys.
I was going to say the problem is that if somebody's creative, that person gets hoovered up by a studio and turned into somebody who has to make something that way the studio wants to make it. And if you want an example of what I'm talking about, let's take a guy. Lin-Manuel Miranda made Hamilton and made Other Heights. Even if you don't like those things, at least you can say they were unique. They were creative. They were stuff. Now he's doing what Disney wants to do, which is to do generic crap. I don't like seeing that about him because I do think the guy's a really intelligent, talented guy.
I'll tell you generic crap, right? Indiana Jones 5. Yeah.
Right, you say what you said about that.
Well, I mean, look, I thought the film was I did say the film was okay, but I just come to realize that okay is not good enough for an Indiana Jones movie.
No, it's not good enough. No. Look.
But sorry, let me get to my point.
No,
my
that's
point
fine. Carry on.
Is that Indiana Jones became Han Solo in that movie. He became a grumpy old man who's broken up from his wife and has lost his son. That's exactly what Han Solo happened to Han Solo in Force Awakens. I mean, they copied the fucking. It's like why can't he be happy in his life? Why does he have to be miserable? Like what is it with like having to turn people who are looked upon so fondly, but when we make them as older characters, they become miserable old fucking men. You know what I mean? It's just they did that with Luke Skywalker as well. Like, come on, like it's just
Okay,
like
as somebody who hasn't seen it, why don't you two give me the review? Come on, you two give me the review because
well, look.
Let's
The
put it this
film,
way.
Mhm.
I'll say this. Like I said in my thing, I said it's not bad. I mean, it's not shit, but it's not good. It's not great. It's fine. It didn't make me want to bang my head against the wall, but it did just feel like a soulless studio film.
Well,
And yeah, go on, Zam.
I'm gonna have a spoil. Are you okay for spoilers, guys?
yeah,
Because there's one thing that has been bugging me. He was like framed for murder early on in the movie, and they never resolved that. Then all of a sudden, like, okay, he's not framed. You know, like they go back to
Yeah,
the movie, like, okay, well, that's not an issue anymore, and all of that, and stuff like that bothered me. Also, I realized that you can't really do like Indiana Jones is about white knuckle near death experiences. When we saw Indy as an old man, we had none of that, and I can totally understand because he is 80. You can't. It's very difficult to replicate that at that particular age. But in my opinion, what when we de-aged him at the beginning of the movie, and he's like 1944, and he's fighting against the Nazis, that felt the most Indiana Jones like I've ever experienced in
that was the best part
years.
of the film. That was the best
That
part
was
of the
the
film.
best. And in my
Yeah.
opinion, what they needed to do was make the whole fucking movie that. You know what I mean? The whole movie should have been that. You know, instead of just the first 20 minutes, because that's what we want from Indiana Jones. We want that era, the 30s, late 30s, early 40s. That's what we want from him. Fighting Nazis and shit like that. You know, hunting for relics and stuff like that. We got that in 20 minutes. The rest of the movie, it just plodded along, and I think it felt a bit too long at times. There was times where I thought to myself, "You can cut a lot of this out," and then having a short
Two of the
round and
chase
all
scenes
that.
they could have cut out, like the
Yeah,
horse one
yeah.
and the buggy one. Like they were
Well,
just
there's something
too long.
there's something that bugs me. Like this happened in Logan as well. Like
so
when they meet somebody, they go for somebody for help, and because of your encounter with that person now gets killed by the bad guys. And that happened to fucking Antonio Banderas' character. If they just left him alone,
Yeah,
he
it's
would
the
have been living
same
for the fucking-
director, isn't it? James
Yeah,
Mangold.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what bugged me about Logan. Like Logan met these people, and by meeting these people, he basically had them. They were set up for death. If he just avoided them, they would have lived a happy fucking life. But
Yeah.
no, your involvement killed these fucking people. Even though you didn't kill them yourself, you just speaking. You need to avoid people for the rest of your fucking lives. So hello Ryan, by the way. And so
Hey, Ryan.
these sort of things bugged me about Indiana Jones. I didn't have an issue too much. A lot of people had an issue with the female character. Have they not watched Indiana Jones? Indiana Jones always has a fucking woman by his side. Always. You know what I mean?
I didn't mind
And-
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She was just a tad boring, and a little bit all over the place in terms of what her
all over the
goals
place. I
and
agree with you.
motivations were. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
here's going to be my issue with some of the kind of way that this is being put on Kathleen Kennedy. Now I know that Ginger isn't a big fan of hers, but I think it's kind of sexist.
I'm not a fan of producers in general.
All right,
Nothing to do
but
with sex.
Yeah.
but I think it's kind of sexist, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that it's down to the writers. It's down to the people who write the fucking things.
No. Sorry, Gary, I have to stop you there because you lack a understanding of Kathleen Kennedy. We know her reputation, okay, and her disdain for writers, her disdain for people wanting to make things their way. This is why so many Star Wars projects haven't gotten off the ground. This is why we've gone 4 years without a Star Wars film. This is why so many directors have left and been fired. So many writers have left and been fired. This is why Kenobi was a pile of shit. This is why Indiana Jones was so bland and generic. Her constant interference and lack of artistic merit, because if you read her history and understand her, she was a go-getter. She's not an artistic person. She's just like somebody that, okay, what was good about Kennedy was, hey, I need this done. And she got fuck get it for you, and she wouldn't mess around. When they were doing Jurassic Park and there was a storm, she made sure that there was planes ready to take the whole crew back to so that they weren't disrupted and stuck on the island. That's Kennedy. Kennedy was then propped up by Disney and given a fucking role of like creative role. She's not a creative person, so she doesn't understand that. She doesn't understand uh, the the franchises that she's running at all. That's not her. Now, if you say to her, okay, look, what you are is the go-getter, go get things done, get things ready for the studio and all that. That's great. But don't have her in the role. And it's not just her. There are so many people that these producers. This is my issue I always have. It's not, and again, never blame the writers because the writers are treated like second-class citizens in Hollywood. This is why they're striking. In fact, I want to pop
Exactly.
up before we move on to anything. Where I want to see where is the article from the writer of The Wire. Let me see. Hang
It's
on.
David something or other. David Chase or something.
Yeah. But I want to get to the article. Where is it? Where is it?
Okay.
Where is it?
Well,
You carry on talking, and I'll get the
all right.
article.
Well, I'm just going off what Jason Isaac said because the thing is that he was talking to, if you know who Matt Corbold is, they had a conversation. It's got to be over a decade now, where they talked about like why some films are shit, and they said that it's usually down to the writing because he says that some people get edited around and like directed around and stuff like that, and that's what causes films to be good. And this is a guy who's been on film sets with Michael Bay and stuff like that. Who has
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't dispute the right, but there's a reason for that, and that is because the writing is overlooked by the studios. They don't take writers serious. There are so many writers that have complained about. There are established writers that come out and said, "Hey, you don't have that middle writer anymore. Now we're just minimum wage workers who are treated like absolute garbage." And they brought this on themselves. They overlooked the most important element of oh fuck, where is it? I think it was on Reddit, but they're overlooking the most important element to any fucking thing you do, and that is respect for the writers, because they're the ones that are going to put it together. The problem is a writer comes in, they write something, and then the director comes in, change. Studios like change, and you just end up with this absolute fucking flying around here, bastardized version of what you originally had, and it's heartbreaking to see, and this is why again. It's been building up, and what's happened is we've got the writer's strike. Because for years, writers have been shit on, they've been ignored, and now they have to fight for their right to just be able to fucking afford food on the table.
And it's scary as well because certain things which I thought was actually in post production might actually get cancelled now, and that's The Boys season 4. Like I'm scared to death that might not. I thought that I personally.
Nah, that's a money maker. That's going to get made, even if it's delayed. It'll get made. Made.
Okay, fine. It's fine, but yeah, good because I'm kind of surprised that series got affected, but you would have thought the whole script was made for that prior to them prior to the strikes.
Yeah. I ain't fussed.
And obviously, it's weird, but it seems like they still are making movies regardless of the fact that there is a strike going on. But,
well, the thing is, they've got there are a lot of fucking scripts on the table that have been written that they could easily just take and make something with it. There's mountains of fucking scripts, so they could afford to let the writer's strike go on. What they can't afford is when the expectation for their regular series and shows aren't on schedule to come out, and a lot of expected films are delayed. That's when the shit will hit the fan. But again, this is Hollywood studios. just being a bunch of greedy fucking bourgeois cunts that have no respect for the arts at all. This is why they're allowing this strike to carry
It's
on.
just
They don't
capitalism
care.
in general.
Just
It's just
capitalism in
capitalism
general. No matter
because
the industry, it's all the same
yeah,
shit.
but all the people who help you make money in the first place, they don't get paid. It's only the people who own the businesses are the ones who collect all the money themselves, and then they decide how much everybody else is worth getting paid. You know, they want to keep it all for themselves, and this has been a problem with capitalism
Yeah.
for a
All right.
long
I just
time.
want.
You
Yeah,
know,
I want to read. So here we go. I want to read this article here from the Wrap. The Why creator David Simon says Hollywood has always had a healthy contempt for writers. And he's not wrong. I want to go on ahead here. Along with creating The Wire, David Simon has been a self described lifelong union man. As a member of the Newspaper Guild and the Writers Guild of America, the WGA strike continues. He made it clear how little he thinks the entertainment industry's top execs respect him and his peers. To quote him, the truth is, there has always been a healthy contempt for the creative element in this industry, not on the part of everybody. And I've had good relationships with people in the studios, and certainly they've had their moments in my career where I've been very
Okay.
grateful. The complexity, right? Simon said on Freak, and I'm okay, blah, 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 blah. But certainly, people who are closer to the Wall Street analysts and the people who are closer to the money side of this, and the people who are running the studios, I don't think they have a clue what it is writers do. And I've been fucking saying this for years. And it's so good to hear professionals who are on an echelon that I can only ever dream of being saying it. Because this is it. This is exactly, they just have utter contempt for the main fucking cog in the wheel.
they're utter content to pay people anything.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
they have whatever you're worth. They don't like paying people money. They hate it. They want to keep it all for themselves.
Yep.
You know, and that's the issue with capitalism, whether it be Hollywood or any other corporate entity. They don't like paying the people who make them money any money.
No, I mean, so I'll give you a prime example. So, a couple of years back, when I submitted my stuff to Amazon Studios, the contract clearly says by submitting your work, you agree that you will only be paid £50,000 for the entirety of this show or this series, or at least the first series, and then going up after a certain amount. So it's 50,000. That's all you get initially, no matter what profits it makes through merchandising, whatever else. That's all you're getting. Netflix was even worse. It was like £30,000 and all of that. And so, and again, you get none of the profits. That's it. It's only if it becomes a success after a certain period and you're wanted as the writer, then you can negotiate more. But until then, they just give you, here you go, here's this. And now it's probably even less than that. But back when I was invested in trying to become a writer and all that, it was just, fucking bottom of the rung. Yeah, it was just, peanuts. And now they're paying for it.
Yeah, this is the thing, is that I don't think that Hollywood really appreciates the writing's art, because you look at like the series where they've given the writers not carte blanche, but given them like a reasonable budget and stuff to do, and they've done phenomenally well. Like, Breaking Bad, as I brought up before, Babylon 5. I'm trying to think of other ones where
Babylon 5, man, was just such a brilliantly written
X-Files, stuff like that.
Yeah. Again, just great writers, great show creators that kind of had pull and were able to just kind of get on with it. Those days are gone. Like you get a Stranger Things happen, and then it's like, okay, great, but for every one Stranger Things, you get a million that just don't happen, and it's usually because, again, the studios aren't sure of it, they don't know whether to invest. But then you get fucking massive flop heads, like like producers and directors seem to fail upwards once they're established from one good film that they've made. Okay, and prime example, Zack Snyder. The man doesn't fucking make box office money. He's given 250 million to make a fucking sci-fi film. I mean, it looks gorgeous, but it'll probably be boring as shit. All right, for Netflix, and that's not coming out in the cinema. Like, that's crazy. But producers, obviously, they're the worst ones because these are just a bunch of fucking like Wall Street or studio wankers that fucking made friends in the industry and were just planted there by their mates, and they never fail. Like anyone else that flopped the Star Wars franchise in any other industry would have been fired. Okay, they wouldn't be allowed to stay on. But here we have contract extensions, more money, more fucking things like that. Kurtzman, after he butchered Star Trek, has been allowed to stay on. Now he's managed to steer the ship finally, but fucking hell, after butchering what he butchered and then being allowed all this time to get it right up until what? Fucking Strange New Worlds? Okay? That's just insane. That's insane. Like, how are you allowed this much time to eventually get one thing right? Like, it boggles the fucking mind. It's like, how many nude pictures of these people do you have to kind of blackmail them with? You know, that.
Well, I mean, the thing is that like we don't know what kind of like creative people like you just talking about Zack Snyder. The guy obviously has some talent. It's just that he just maybe doesn't surround himself with the right people to get that talent out.
He's not a good director. He's a good cinematographer.
Okay.
This is so you get. There are some people that I feel are better placed to be directors of photography, not directors. And Zack Snyder is one of the top of my list because he could do some beautiful cinematography and he can make your shit look lovely. But his writing is boring and his directing is boring. And that's the problem. So
the directors who should be DPs then?
Yeah, David Villeneuve. He's another one. Great DP, not a fucking great director because his stuff is boring. So yeah, there are just some that I feel should understand that. Look, your photography is gorgeous. That's your limit. Let somebody else do the directing and the writing and all of that. Yeah, because again, like you watch a Villeneuve film, it's gorgeous. It's stunning. The visuals are amazing.
Arrival, for example.
Arrival, Dune. Like, I didn't like the film, but I'm talking about the visuals here. You know, Blade Runner 2.
I love Dune.
You know, all this. The visuals are stunning, but I was bored shitless watching it. So that's my issue with that director. You know, yeah. But on Indy 5. Don't bother going and seeing it in the cinema. It's not worth seeing it in the cinema. I want to say one thing though. This is why I've come back to Indy 5. There's a bit spoilers, by the way. If anyone hasn't watched it, these are spoilers. But I'm gonna keep this one vague. So there is a point. I can't keep it vague. I have to spoil it. I'm very sorry. So at one point in the film, they go back to ancient times. Okay. They go to Sicily, which by that. Sicily was first
ancient Sicily. Yeah, they don't go to ancient Sicily. They go to Sicily.
They go to Sicily. Okay, and Sicily was first colonized by the Greeks, not the Italians. The Greeks had it for a lot longer than the Italians have had it, and especially the eastern parts of Sicily. But eventually, they end up back in time in ancient Sicily as well. And there they meet Archimedes, and they start speaking to him in Greek. And just forget the quality of Greek in this was fucking terrible. But my issue is that Harrison Ford, whose Greek was abysmal. Okay, and you think he'd be training a lot on that because don't forget in the final Indiana Jones film, the third one. What was it?
That's it.
Last Crusade.
Last Crusade. In the Last Crusade, what does his father make him do? His father makes him count backwards in Greek. His father was teaching him Greek.
Yes.
Okay, do you remember that?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
No other
movie with
right.
River Phoenix.
No channel has picked up on that. I picked up on it because I remember it sticking out. Because obviously, if you're Greek, you're going to remember these things because it's your people, it's your language. And And by the way, I'm not triggered or offended on this. I just found it hilarious. So when they were in ancient Greece talking to Archimedes, first of all, Harrison Ford's Greek was abysmal. Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Greek, for what it was, although it had that very kind of accent on it, was wonderful. She did a fantastic job doing it. The problem is they're speaking modern Greek to Archimedes. Archimedes isn't even trying to speak to them in modern Greek. It's a completely different language. It's like going back.
Like, is the only Greek they know?
Huh?
Is that
No,
the only
no, but-
Greek?
but no,
It's the only Greek thing. But the thing is, no. The thing is, if you're an archaeologist and you know your history, a lot of archaeologists know ancient Greek. There's a lot less language in there in ancient Greek, so it's a lot easier to learn. All right. Um, they're speaking modern Greek to an ancient Greek. That is a huge fuck up by the studio. That is a glaring oversight, and it's an insult to archaeologists. And I, I just, it's one of those that just it bugs me so much that I can't believe that they did it. It's like the equivalent of us going back to England 1,000 years ago and trying to speak English to these people. They're like, wait, who, what? You know,
yeah, before Chilzerian times, like when they mean what's the word Beowulf was written.
Yeah.
Their percentage of English would be nothing like what's speaking
a
about.
fucking different language. You know, it's just, it's such a huge oversight.
And by the way, yes, I did I had the double chocolate pie by McDonald's, and yeah, it was all right. It was okay, a bit bitter, but not bad. And when I ate it, by the way, it was lukewarm, so it wasn't hot enough. I should have eaten it when it was.
Yeah, you
not
got to
so
have those
piping
hot
because-
with an ice cream as well.
Well, it depends on the level of hotness, because if you eat those pies too hot, you end up bloody blistering and scalding your mouth. You know what I mean? So there is a level, but I went below that level, unfortunately. And
I want to say this
Yeah.
as well. Sorry, I want to say this. Bill and Ted: Excellent Adventure did a far better job, because when they go and get Socrates, Socrates is speaking ancient Greek. He's not speaking modern Greek. Just wanted to put that out there. That a film as daft as Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure did a far better job of portraying ancient Greeks than a fucking film about an archaeologist did. But this is the level of care that they just don't. This is the oversight. They don't understand. They're too thick to realize these kind of things. And this coming from the fucking studio owned by the corporation that pushes on diversity, but because it's not the kind of diversity that they're pushing on, they could take liberties and be insulting to the source material. You understand the kind of annoying hypocrisy there.
So are you saying that they time travel in the actual movie?
Yeah, there's time travel in the
yeah, I mean, it's stupid, but look, at the beginning of the movie, Mad Mikkelsen's character gets hit really hard in the head, which should have killed him. You know, I mean, we're talking Dennis Hopper speed, levels of
getting smacked in the face. Yeah.
And he and I thought there was something mesmerizing or magical was going to happen, that he would come back alive from that, and no any scars from that. No,
from pitch meeting. Yeah, no scars, no nothing. No, he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah,
no,
he should be dead. The best moment with his character was when he talked to that black guy who was in his room, who was serving him.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic moment with him, because he's a Nazi. The disdain he has for the other and stuff like that. And it would have almost been better in a way if they had that black CIA agent who kind of realized that, maybe she ended up getting killed in the thing, but if she kind of maybe realized that she ended up working for Nazis, and she wanted to make amends for that.
I'm glad they killed her. She was fucking boring anyway. Just brought nothing to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've read that Phoebe Waller-Bridge, every time I see her name, I have to be careful what I say. Her character is of some character that we've never seen before. She couldn't have been like what's his name? She couldn't have been flaming the guy who's always in the Dennis, the character that was always in it. What's his name?
Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah, it could have been his goddaughter. I don't. They went with an actor that was alive, obviously, because it was a lot easier. But they could have digitally put him back in. You know.
I'm a little bit torn regarding Mutt being killed. Like they did it in order to give him the trauma, but like I said, why do they always have to give characters trauma? Um, just because, like, my brother doesn't live with me and my dad. You know what I mean? Just because you got a father who's 80 doesn't mean you have to spend every fucking moment of your life with him.
I think that was
like,
more of a fuck you than anything. Just to say, no, he's dead. He's dead. He's not coming back. We're not dealing with Shia LaBeouf. And I was actually happy when they said that he died. Because I was like, yeah, fuck this character. You know.
and
Like,
obviously
never
the
wanna see
other
him
thing, like he had this huge geezer in this movie, like this real big muscular guy, and the way they killed his character off, I wasn't a fan of. Like,
It was
he got what he
underwhelming.
deserved.
Yeah.
It was underwhelming. Like, you can't have
It
a
was
guy
underwhelming.
that big and not have
Okay.
him in some sort of fight. You know what I
Okay,
mean? He was your yeah. Go on.
What would you both give it out of 10?
A
I
5.
gave it the thing is, I thought it was adequate, and because I found it better than Kingdom of Crystal Skull, I gave it a 6. But I'm thinking about it again, and having more time to sit on it. I'm thinking maybe 5.
Yeah, five is what it gets. It's in the middle. Look, it's just it's in the middle. Nothing will beat Kingdom of the Kings, Crystal Skull in terms of I couldn't finish that film. It was so bad. Like I lasted 40 minutes and I was done. It was just
the stupid movie, but the guy from Logan in that movie, the guy with the tash. I mean, the trigger happy Nazi.
Yeah.
He's fucking, like, for some reason he decides to get his fucking gun out and start shooting at the fucking Romans and stuff.
Yeah, it just descended into stupidity back then. Like those arrows, the planes flying low, the arrows hitting the fucking plane.
A lot of people, you know, I never realized this, but a lot of people had an issue when Phoebe's character knocked out Indy. Like, the guy has been shot. He's 80 years old. He's dying. He thinks he's gonna die.
He's lost a lot of blood, mate. If you punch him, he's going down.
Yeah. Regardless of him, like him having a fucking cast iron jaw, that particular time, he was going down, and people had a real issue with that because she's a woman, and that's the issue they had with it, and stuff like that. And look, she had to be different. Like, all the women in Indiana Jones have all been very different. I have a soft spot for Willie, by the way, in Temple of Doom, because as much as she was a pain in the ass, she went above and beyond as far as she was concerned by covering herself in absolute bugs in order to save Indy and Short Round's life when she pulled that lever. That's probably the most heroic thing she's ever done in her fucking entire life. Yeah, and I do think she had a bit of an arc as the film went along. You know what I mean? As well, and she kind of like,
she's a spoiled brat, and she wasn't as spoiled by the end of the film.
Yeah, she was a bit more. I mean, she was still going to be a little bit of a whiny. I mean, she was never going to have a personality change, but she became a little bit more grounded by the time the end happened, and stuff like that.
If you look at him mean, he'd go down. Yeah, Indy is talking about, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go on this unpopular opinion. I like Shia's acting. I'm not like saying like he's not a bad actor. I just don't like him.
He's a shitty human being.
He's a shit human being. So I can't enjoy somebody. Yeah,
regarding Marion, by the way, if Marion was a character that was created today, they'll be calling her a fucking Mary Sue or whatever. Look at this woman; she's fucking out drinking big, muscular Nepalese men, on the drinks table and shit like that.
Oh, they'll have a fucking meltdown.
I mean, they'll have a real issue and shit like that. Look at her. She's like, Indy's falling asleep and she's still awake wanting sex.
Yeah. Oh, she's a rapist. Yeah, all this kind of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like,
honestly, pay that as much attention to that kind of shit. They're just fucking always idiots looking for something. By the way, did any of you know that The Witcher series 3 is out?
Yes,
Yeah, and I didn't watch. I didn't watch season.
I've heard about it. Yes,
Yeah, I
I
have.
didn't watch season 2.
I can't use my
You're not
Netflix
missing
account because
anything,
I'm
Sam.
letting my younger members of my family use it, so I can't use it.
Oh,
But I've not watched it. I don't think I'd watch it even if I had it, because I think that after Cavill left and they've basically all but admitted that they're not going to follow the books. It's like, why the fuck should I bother?
Season one
Exactly.
was so boring. The lack of monster hunting in season 1 drove me nuts. They had the opening with the opening episode with him taking his potions and killing that monster at the very beginning. But then you had episodes with him,
I
beginning with
will.
him,
Once I'll be checking that out.
with the carcass of a monster, knowing that he just killed one or whatever. And like, I wanted more of that, more of that badass.
Yeah,
thing, but
it was
they trying to make all
the pacing. The pacing
Mhm.
was just again. It was all over the fucking place. Like I didn't enjoy series 2. I enjoyed series 1. I didn't enjoy series 2, and then after the whole hullabaloo and what was that one about? Again, fucking producer doesn't know what they're doing. Just completely destroy the fucking show. Okay, this is what I mean. And she gets to keep a fucking job and carry on making the show. And Henry Cavill is the fucking the one that has to take the fall here. So you know what I mean? This is why I fucking hate these Hollywood
I feel
studios.
sorry for Henry Cavill. Like, he actually left the Witcher series, but he thought he was going to be Superman again, and that's kind
Yeah,
of nicked
and
him
then
in the
that
butt
didn't
as well.
happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's what happened. I think what happened is that he pointed out the issue that they weren't following the fucking book, and someone said, "No, goodbye."
But,
Well, he's going to
but
be
that's the
doing
main reason
Warhammer
he
now,
left. But
apparently.
he left because he says, I'm fucking don't need this kind of shit. I'm gonna go be Superman. Then obviously Superman didn't pan out. And then what I said it in I must have said, I think I said it in one of my videos that
Yeah,
hey,
you did.
a studio should just give him Warhammer. He's a big Warhammer fan. 2 weeks later, he gets fucking Warhammer. It's
And
like,
and he's going to be a producer on that
yeah,
too.
he's
So
gonna be the
he's going
producer. And that's
to.
what I
So
mean.
yeah, and
We'll
that's
see
he's
what
going
it,
to have a say on
yeah.
it.
He's a talented guy.
Huh?
If he was a bit younger, he
he's-
would be James Bond for me. You know what I mean?
he's a
If he was
talented
a bit
guy.
younger.
I don't want to say again, like I because I just don't give a shit about James Bond anymore. I don't want
I
to
do.
see actors like him being fucking wasted in that role because they have to stick there and do that, and you don't get much else out of them. So I'm glad
The
he never
man,
got James
he
Bond.
was in the Man from Uncle movie, and
I love that film.
even though the
I love that
even though the
film.
character he played was American, like I thought
Why-
to myself, wow, this
Right,
guy could be James
I
Bond.
loved one, but I don't know. I mean, the thing is that if I have to deal with another bloody argument about how sexy James Bond is, it's like it's a fancy character for fuck's sake. Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of people
I
have an
don't
issue
care
with,
about that. If he
with
wants
the
to be, even in today's world, if he wants to be someone that shags around and all this kind of stuff, big fucking deal. These people still exist, you know. Stop trying to, stop trying to make every fucking character this kind of compassionate, soft cunt that fucking falls within your liberal values. Just stop doing that. You just stop boxing
Tinder
everyone
wouldn't
into
exist
being
if
the
people
same.
did like shagging around for fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. James Bond should be a misogynistic, happy shagger that blows the shit out of people. That's
He's
what makes
alcoholic.
him a lovable character. I don't want him sitting there fucking crying and showing compassion for the opposite sex. I know that sounds horrible, but what I mean is like that's not how he was written. He was written by a human.
well,
that
it
is a
depends
cunt.
really because
Ian
because
Fleming
like
is a cunt.
Ian
So
Fleming was a cunt, but he also wrote on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and in that one he did get married, and
Yes.
he tried to settle down, and then it had one of the greatest tragic endings in Bond history, where the bad guy won, and his wife got killed on his fucking wedding day. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it, that ending of that movie, and I didn't mind the most recent Bond movie. What was it called again? Die Another Day.
Spectre.
Or, no,
Yeah.
Die.
No.
Was
It
it
was
No Time
No
to
Time to
Die.
Die.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is the one of the worst Bond films I ever seen.
I'm with Paddy on this,
that was
actually.
brilliant.
That was
Absolutely brilliant.
no
That
Me,
was
way.
me and Paddy are
absolutely
on
brilliant.
this on this, actually.
That was
I
that
hated
was
it.
absolutely brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant.
It was
What they
fucking
did with that, it
stupid
was so
in
original,
every way.
so
Yeah.
original in my opinion, and I liked it. I like the
What
fact
was
that he had
original
a
about it?
daughter. You know, they killed him off. Yeah, whoever kills off James fucking Bond. You know what I mean? They actually, I thought they're doing this. You know, and the fact that he had a kid as well. And obviously the relationship he had with that girl, he's been, you know, and this is the same Daniel K character who had a relationship with what's her face in his first movie in Casino Royale. So he's been burned
agreed.
stuff like that, but yeah, but he still went back. He still went back to try a relationship again. I thought the villain was a bit shit.
Fucking
Look,
crap.
I thought the villain was a bit shit, but I also felt like they kind of gave some, you know, with that particular Bond movie and the one he did with Javier Bardem, they kind of like make sure that he got some of his Bond isms done in that movie. Like, okay, let's have a bizarre villain. We're gonna give him a bizarre villain with a fucking weird eyeball and all of that sort of shit. Those are the sort of things you get in Bond movies when it comes to the henchmen and stuff like that. We're gonna make sure he uses his Bond car properly this time, and yet let him use all his machine guns and everything, and you know, all of that sort of stuff.
Okay. It was. Stop talking, man. Jesus, I hate that fucking film so much. It's not
I
worth.
love it.
It's not worth going on and on about it. Sorry, I know that's rude, but I don't care about
I'd
it.
love to see it. I want to see more Bond. I mean, would you think Daniel Radcliffe would make a good James Bond?
No, he's like 4 foot tall.
I'm told a bit rather than playing Daniel Radcliffe. I could eat him alive.
Literally, put him in your pocket and all of that. I just want an unknown cast as Bond, or Henry Golding cast as Bond, because he's young enough to play him. You know, don't care that he's Asian. He's very smooth motherfucker, very great wit, great sense of humor. So put him in, or put an unknown. You know, I just don't care about James
Not Tom
Bond
Hardy
anymore. That was like fatigue there as well with that. Like, anyway.
Well, James Bond was like a character, not like necessarily for unknown actors, but for actors whose career needed that boost. You know, like Pierce Brosnan was like a supporting cast actor. Then he became James Bond. He got the boost. Same with Daniel Craig. You know, he was never really a top tier actor until he became Bond. Got that boost. And Timothy Dalton, even Roger Moore to a degree, he was doing the Saints and stuff like that. Became James Bond. It boosted his fucking career. And even with Sean Connery too. You know what I mean? It was the boost they needed. And so whichever actor needs that boost.
Exactly. And Henry Golding falls right into that, because he's
he does actually.
He falls into that. He needs that boost, whereas Cavill doesn't. Cavill's already ascended. He doesn't need it.
Yeah, I agree.
Selba doesn't need it. Again, I'm taking age
Tom
out.
Hardy doesn't need it.
You know, Tom Hardy doesn't need it. You know, they've ascended. Again, I'm just saying, taking age out of it, they've ascended.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yep, that's fine. He'd be a great James Bond. Good actor, very versatile as well. So he could do suave debonair, he could do menacing and all of that.
And he's British,
British. That's a very good choice. And I like that actor. I do like him. No, I mean, not that my opinion fucking matters whether I like them or not. It's just that is a good choice. Let's see. What else do we have on film and TV? I've got here that the greatest part of the Hawkeye series, which was the Avengers musical, is going to get put on Disneyland. They're going to create the actual musical and the show to be performed on Disneyland. And now I finally have a reason to go to fucking Disneyland to go and watch that awesome musical that made me piss myself laughing. I was Jason. If Cheeto was here now, he'd be creaming his knickers.
How long is that musical going to be? Like, you know, is it going to be like an hour and a half, like length musical, or what?
Yeah, it'll probably be 90 minutes, like standard.
All the problem, the thing is, Paddy, is that I've got foreboding about it.
What?
Because I'm thinking it's going to be another Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Another Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Well, yeah, it's not going to set the world
Uh, uh,
alight. It's just going to be there. Like, no one's going to even talk about it once it's out. It's just going to get a little bit of publicity. I just found it hilarious. That's all it is. I'm not invested in this at all. I just wanted it to also wind up Cheeto because, But I'm just saying, if they did
Well,
take
did
it
you
to,
not like it?
no, he hated it. He thought it was the worst part of the show. I thought that was the best fucking
I,
part of the show.
yeah. For me, I thought to myself, I want to see this for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want.
If they bring this to the
needs
West End,
happen.
I'll fucking go and watch it.
Mate, Disney is so stupid. They don't need to just have it in Disneyland. They need to have this shit on Broadway, on the
I couldn't
Strand.
agree more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll make shitloads of fucking money. You know what I mean? They'll make shitloads.
Unironically bad musical like that would make bank because people would kind of appreciate it for what it is. Like I loved it because it was so bad.
Well,
It was wonderfully performed.
Marvel is bigger. I never thought anything would ever be bigger than Star Wars, but Marvel has surpassed Star Wars as being bigger than Star Wars, as far as I'm concerned. And I feel that with the amount of people who are into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whether it's shit or not at this moment in time, they might not be into musicals, but they'll make an effort to watch that particular musical because it's appealing to them because it's to do with fucking Marvel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's I know, and it's ironic and it's fun and all that. Yeah, it's just Wait, hang on. What's this one? I missed this comment. Sorry. That's the thing. The Chinese market made better about movies. The demand for intriguing characters. What?
Yeah, but
Where? What more intriguing characters? The Chinese films are just as fucking shallow as bloody Hollywood films. They don't make intriguing characters. They make the same fucking thing.
You're mistaking that for Korean movies. And even then, I think some of the stuff Korea's making kind of shit recently.
Yeah,
I mean, recently they've been living off their own reputation of making good stuff, and some of their stuff has just been really bad.
That's because the Americans have got their hands on them now, and that's why they're putting their money in, and now you see the fucking difference of that.
Yeah.
It's like the kind of Netflix money and all this kind of shit goes into it, and you're just like,
with Netflix, they invested big time into Korean cinema and television.
You defeated the purpose because you wanted to Americanize these Korean films, and now they're just fucking generic crap. So yeah, I agree with you there. That's for sure. But this musical, fucking, let's do it, baby. Just bring it to the West End as well. I'll go. We'll go together, Zam. We'll jerk each other off.
Sure.
do you know what? If I'm feeling better and I'm available, I'll come along as well.
Fucking do it. We'll make it an outing. We'll jerk each other off in the theatre.
No, I've already
I like a soft touch.
Okay.
The invitation's for you as well, boss man. And I've already invited Ginger Greek. But in 2 years' time, I plan to go to America to do the American road trip. I think you're right. 3 weeks is what we need. Going from
3 weeks,
Los Angeles.
and it's not a good. I mean, your route needs to have Tennessee in there. Damn it, for the fucking blues music. Anyway, I love it. It's further east, but I love your idea.
From Los Angeles all the way to Dallas, passing Las Vegas, Denver, Colorado, and somewhere in New Mexico, so we can see Jose in the block. And this is something I really want to do. I'm saving money for it. It's not gonna be cheap. We're talking 4 figures. You know what I mean? But that's why you start
$5,000, mate. 4 or 5 grand.
Yeah, we're talking like 2 years. Yeah, you talk. That's why you start saving from now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot easier. I've realized now if I can save £30 a week from now, I could easily do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Can we talk about a bit of a heavy topic again, or are we still talking about movies?
No, let's go. What you got?
What's the heavy topic?
I was going to talk about Rammstein.
5 kg.
Oh, Rammstein. Right. Yeah. What happened now?
So basically,
Rammstein.
Okay.
It's a rock band.
So basically, So basically, what happened was some Irish lass, but on Twitter, basically told her story about the lead singer. So basically, apparently, after the show, they have an after show, and then they have an after show. So apparently, after show, Till Lindemann, the lead singer, an ex-East European Olympic swimmer, apparently came along and apparently she told apparently she got basically roofied or spiked or whatever you want to call it. And then she doesn't remember. She just said that she got basically raped, and then there's other people who kind of come forward with these kind of similar things that one remember basically going to one of these parties and then waking up with Lindemann over them having sex with them without consenting and stuff like that. It's like dodgy as shit, basically.
Let's have a look. I'll just have a look. So, Ramstein, German police open sex offense investigation into Till Lindemann. German police have opened investigation into sexual assault allegations against Till Lindemann. From a number of women have alleged that they were recruited for sex at concerts. One fan, Shelby Lynn, Northern Ireland, believed her drink was spiked and she had been groomed for sex. Jesus Christ. Well, let's see how this folds out. If so, I mean, I've never liked the band anyways, but fuck them. The little room to get.
I do like Rammstein, but even I'm like,
I know. There's a lot of people I know that are on my friends list that have gone and seen them live a couple of times. But if this all turns out to be true, fuck them.
I agree.
Yeah,
horrible.
I never even heard of them until you brought them up.
You're not missing anything. If it's not your style of music, it ain't mine. So but it's just
a
metal
music style,
just crazy kind of heavy metal.
Yeah, all that
kind of.
No. It's
Satan worshipping ones.
No. It's something German. It's just very, very heavy on the guitar.
Just German heavy metal.
There's no fucking chance I'm hearing it anytime soon. I mean, so.
Yeah. Well, fuck them. Actually, here's one I did want to talk about. TYT. Gone full turd.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to start because I would like to start because I was one of the few people who stuck with them, because I generally thought, okay, fine, people have the issue with them, but I always thought to myself, still their message remains to be fairly on point to how I think of things, but things have changed. Like you've had members of staff there, like you had a trans person called Benny, and she quit because of some of the comments. I think more of it's to do with Anna than Cenk, but Cenk backs up Anna, and some of his points now have also become a bit, oof, what the hell are you saying, Cenk? I do believe they are still quite left leaning, but some of the stuff they're saying is definitely a bit boomerish, and they're not keeping up with the trends and the times, but anyway, what you gonna say, boss man?
I was gonna say, well, from what I've heard, and this is off like entire podcast that Anna Kasparian has done, she kind of has gone, no, she has a lot more right-wing views than her views on trans people. Like, she was defending Kyle Rittenhouse. No, again, I'm somebody who's more, what's the word? I won't say I'm kind of divided on the issue, because legally, yeah, he did the right thing, but ethically, not that guy. But the whole trans thing. I mean, because this whole thing started when she literally read a piece of paper that said birthing person on it. It's like, which literally is what they call you to be medically accurate. Because again,
even that particular tweet, I still personally don't have a bigger issue as a lot of people do regarding that tweet.
I don't.
I don't either.
she shouldn't have said it, and knowing the environment that we're currently in.
Yeah, I don't think the tweet is that
It
bad.
should have been more private for her to say, "Look, please don't call me a
Yeah.
birthing person. I respect other people being called that, but don't call me that. Call me a woman
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm too stupid to take it into context. That's fine. Don't put it on Twitter because you know what's going to happen. And so my issue with the Young Turks is these two fucking people are the most stubborn arseholes on the fucking left. All right, next to Jimmy Dore as well. Okay, they're so stubborn and they have such a big ego that because of this, they push themselves further in bed with the right. Okay, fucking sitting there like I was watching other people's podcast reactions to this and finding out that they're sitting there fucking like being softy with people like Ben Shapiro of all fucking people and all this kind of stuff, and it's just like appeasing kind of MAGA idiots and being more sympathetic to their lack of understanding and all this kind of shit rather than pushing them on these kind of subjects. So all these clips kind of came up. If you watch I think the Humanist Report done great video on that.
Mike Figueroa, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And
Yeah,
I was
he's
just
brilliant, he is.
yeah, and I was just like, these fucking two. Like, I quit on TYT. There was two reasons. Number one, the whole Donald Trump thing. They just become like physically wanted to throttle Cenk because he kept saying 25th Amendment, get him out. And the amount of times I kept hearing that. And then when Trump finished his term, and Cenk, again, this is the kind of human being you're dealing with, would not accept that he lost the bet he had with Anna. That Cenk said that Trump's not going to complete his full term. Well, he did. And he wouldn't fucking accept it. He kept trying to, move the goalpost. And then Anna is no different to Cenk. Very stubborn. They've bogged down so much now that they've just become as bad as the very people that they've spent their lifetime calling out. And their rhetoric is very dangerous. They have gone, they're kind of buying into the right wing propaganda about trans people. And it's fucking shocking to see, unless they're doing a Jimmy Dore and they're like, we're losing the left because we're mediocre and we're out of date and we're not keeping up with the times. So now we're going to do the grift and start appeasing more to the right wing audience and try to bring them in, or at least bring the center right in. Because that's the only logical conclusion I can come to for how fucking far they have fallen.
Well, I would say to you, Paddy, and this is going to be. I mean,
just say it. Don't give me description. Just say it.
Okay. We look at this country. You look at some people on the left here. I think more the liberal left. They've been taken in by this right wing bullshit as well, because they found
they're centrist. They're centrist.
Exactly. So I think me personally, if I was to classify this is why I've never liked them, because they're not real left. They're centre left. They're liberal.
They're centrist.
Yeah.
Not
and
left,
with
not right.
all, and with all liberal people, right? They are going to go with what is the most pragmatic thing to get them attention, because they're not about what's right. They're about what gets them attention. Because the thing is, the whole trans issue shouldn't be an issue. Let's just be blunt about that. Because the thing is, it's about a bunch of people who are getting picked upon because they're a minority. That's all it is. And people are just trying to bring around it, make some people feel gross. Well, the word is tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's the culture war thing, the distraction that people need to kind of help distract people from all the atrocities that capitalism is continuing to cause. And the right wing struck gold because they didn't anticipate liberal women, especially white women, falling for this propaganda.
For this grift.
They fell for the grift. They roped them in. And Zam, is he falling asleep?
I think
he's having a heart attack. Hey, Zam.
I think let's hide him.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
That's all right. I thought he was having a heart attack or something, because that did look like the normal way of falling asleep.
No. I'm sorry. I did pop. I could hear you, but I wasn't responding. You know, regarding Cenk, he goes on about being quite leftist and he supports unions, but then he didn't want to support the unions that was happening amongst his own staff within TIT. He had an issue with that, and he didn't want them to unionize. He wanted
Yep.
control over them, and
Yep.
you know, it kind of shows you like how much of a leftist are you, Jake? If anything, if you do truly believe in these left leaning ideologies, then you should be very happy that your staff are unionizing. That should be something you should be proud of, and you can boast about it. And that would actually have more people in your corner as well if you did that, but you didn't. And now because they have unionized, you're now boasting about it in a way that you know to say that you know you're cool with this, even though you weren't cool with this, but it happened.
Oh, so his
You
staff
know?
have actually unionized.
Yes.
His office staff, yeah.
Oh, they've actually. Oh, that I bet he fucking hates that. No matter what he tells you on front of camera, I bet he fucking hates that.
Yeah.
But
For
I
sure.
bet you he just allowed it to happen because the pressure was building up. He was called out for it, and it's just like he's a fucking. They're massive hypocrites. They're liberals, man. They're not. You know, they may have been left wing once upon a time, but they're fucking liberals. They have that same kind of mentality as liberals in that they're just reactionary, and they've grown up in this kind of era of the the kind of right wing propaganda that even they fucking fall for, like. Russiagate. Russiagate. They bought into Russiagate like a bunch of fucking stooges. And this is, one of the few times I sided with Jimmy Dore, but it wasn't just Jimmy Dore. There were so many other places that were saying, no, this is a load of bollocks. This is just kabuki theater trying to fucking get Donald Trump out of office. And it just turned out it was one big, massive lie.
Cool.
This was the establishment doing what the establishment does in trying to get rid of a nuisance, which I don't know why, because he made the rich even richer. So,
Yeah, but the thing is that some of his policies were bothering them.
Yeah,
And
cool.
the thing is with the Young Turks is now this total shift has happened. I mean, like I don't know whether you've seen it, Paddy, but it's worth going to watch. I don't know how long it is. I think it's about 2 or 3 hours at least. I know that's a long period of time, but maybe do put it on where you're playing games. That's what I tend to do. Listen to that podcast. It is intriguing to like going, well, the left has always been like, turn the back on people, and now we're on. I come on the right side. I'm accepting. It's like bullshit, fucker. The fact that you're even saying that with a straight face, when you've criticised the right for how flaming controlling of people's bodies they are. I mean, we literally have in America abortion laws still, and in many states you can't, as an adult, be a trans person. It's like, so what control are they giving you?
I mean, some of the laws are so extreme that even Republicans are looking at these laws, like especially like what DeSantis is fucking passing. They're like, no, this is a bit much. This is overstretching. This is ridiculous. I mean, how long until the fucking TYT starts supporting bloody ban on abortions as well? Obviously, that's not going to happen. I'm just being ridiculous here, but like, this is just how stupid they are. They fall for this, and they don't understand the rhetoric because they just don't understand trans people. They don't. If they did understand them, they'd have that person like Benny who left the show, have them on, and talk to them. I've said it a million fucking times, and I'm sick and tired of fucking saying it. Instead of running your mouth off and giving an opinion on trans people, all right,
people that are trans.
To people that aren't trans, fucking have them on your show, get a group of them, and just give them the floor, and they will tell you exactly what it is they're going for, because not everyone is the same. Each individual has their own issues, their own stuff that they're going through, and all this kind of stuff. It's not the same. Okay, I know this because this is what I did 15 years ago or 13 years ago on Blog TV when I asked a bunch of trans folk to come out and explain to me what it is that they go through, and I had 3 of them come on, and they were all similar but different in ways as well, because there's also conflicts between sometimes you know, they'll have the conflict of they'll see themselves as a woman. Sometimes they'll see themselves as they really are. You know, there's so many complexities to it, and seeing liberals and some left people have the same kind of lack of nuance on the trans issue is frustrating, because the see right wingers are, they deal with the here and now. They can never look 10 steps ahead, and they can never look 10 steps back to see how why things got to there. And liberals are very similar, but liberals are very similar in terms of the political system. So
Agreed.
prime example, Hillary. I just had arguments on Reddit and got banned from a group because somebody posted a tweet saying, "Hey, you know, can you imagine? Trump doesn't get elected. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen." All I wrote in the comments was, "You shouldn't have screwed over Bernie." And then I got a whole bunch of things from liberals saying, "No, yeah, well, those people that were sour that their candidate didn't get selected, still went out and didn't vote for Hillary." Like, what kind of stupid shit is that? I was like, hang on a second, mate. If the establishment actively works to screw your candidate over, why should you then partake in the establishment and voting for the establishment candidate? And secondly, you dumb fucks. Okay, these are liberals, by the way, so they should have a brain on them, but they don't. Hillary won the election. She got more votes than Trump. What made her lose the election was the Electoral College.
Agreed.
Okay, that's what got me banned. The minute I said the Electoral College, they banned me from the group. And it's just like, aha, because you're too stupid to realize, oh yeah, that's actually what happened. We'll just silence dissent. Okay, and so this is what I mean with liberals and politics. They're so fucking stupid. But right wingers, in everything, they deal with the here and the now. They're so reactionary. They don't think the broader picture, lack of nuance. And so seeing a lot of liberals do that with trans people makes me want to bang my head against the wall, because they're like, okay, well, this trans person said this, therefore all trans people are. It's like, no.
See, this is the thing is that this is why I want to talk to those people who are transphobic, because they use terms like gynophile, and it's like, no, that isn't a thing. Like, that was disproven like years and years ago, but they still use it. It's like people using the word, you know, homosexual is mental illness shit. It's like, it's just the same. And I often go on these TERF channels.
Yeah.
I often go on these TERF channels. Oh, Sam's sorry again.
I'm here. I'm on reserve, but I'm here.
That's all right, mate. If you want to dip off and go to bed, it's up to you, dude.
Yeah,
give me. I want to talk about this issue.
All right, Gary, let him pop in now so he doesn't. Go on, Zam.
No. Keep going.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry, I play that back. Go on, Zam. Gary.
Okay, so the thing is that I go on these people's channel and I point out, like, and I make this analogy. Is that, imagine, for example, that, let's say, for example, you got ovarian cancer, because a lot of these are women. I said, imagine if, instead of getting radiotherapy and chemotherapy and the drugs and the medical care, instead of that, imagine if instead there was a group of people who said that was a problem, and said that instead, let's bring out the leeches. Said, that's it. That's literally what you're asking trans people to do, because they tried your way for literally the last 100 years. It didn't work. Okay, and this is the thing that they don't get to the stupid heads. They tried it your way. It didn't work, because you can't untrain people to be trans. It's who they are. And I've told people this 50 times. It's like, oh, that's not true. It went, it is true. You just don't want to accept it as true because it goes against your narrative that you've been grifted on. So,
yeah. Spot fucking on. Zam?
Oh, man.
Really? The real thing is? Jesus Christ.
Look, I just feel like I haven't been watching much of TYT recently, but it's the clips that people have shown me on the other channels that have made me open my eyes, which is unlike I'm able to do right now. But made me open my eyes to what what they've become. I do think some of Anna's take. I do think is more Anna than Cenk. I really feel there's more to the. But unfortunately, with Cenk as a long time cohort, he's going to back her up no matter what, and I think that's part of the issue. I do think. Look, no, I never expect perfection from these guys. Left wing perfection, even with the union thing. But I do. But with a lot of other channels, well, like Destiny, I love watching Destiny. Yeah, and I don't think he's perfect on everything. I mean, the guy stands by Carl Rittenhouse as well. But nevertheless, there are people who are going to have differing opinions to me, but still fundamentally they're on my side of the issue.
Okay.
And it's just a shame that so many people have an issue now with the young. I still think that they are on the left. I still think they are on the left to this day, but yeah, it's just not that so clear in every department. So much so that certain people who work for them have left them. I mean, even Emma Vageland, who now is on the Majority Report, she made like a little comment regarding TYT before she left them. Apparently, Cenk took that to heart and started ripping on her afterwards, allegedly.
Because the guy's a misogynist. That's why. If we conform to what he wants, they're perfectly fine. If they don't, then they're harridans and they're going through menstrual cycles and all this sexy shit.
Well, he's just he's got a huge ego, and as soon as it's bruised, he lashes out. This is why they always double down when they're called out.
But this is why it comes with the fact that they are probably the pioneers of left wing YouTube media, and they were kind of like the first. Some people might point out somebody else, but I feel like there's a lot of people that came after them, like David Patman, the Majority Reports, with Sam Cedar, obviously, Secular Talk, and all of these other guys. But they almost feel like the grandparents of it all. And I think, unfortunately, now there's a sense of entitlement and that they could do no wrong and everyone else is overreacting. And it's a real shame now because I think lines are going to be drawn in the sand and a lot of people are going to be moving on from them. I think there is a TYT worth saving. I mean, they are, they have done a lot of good in the past and they've influenced so much left-wing news media out there, because of who they are. All of this doesn't make me happy. I'm just sad where things have gone. There's enough infighting amongst the left as it is, and this is now added to it, and it's just a sad state of affairs. Personally, there's nothing good coming from this. When we should be more united than ever against the right wing tyrannicalness that is heading our way. What I mean?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Go on, guys.
I was just going to say, but the reason this has gotten so far is because if like, let's say, for example, someone said to Anna, look, you're wrong about this because of this, and this, I think she would have listened. I think it's because people went so hard in the paint with her. And I think it does run, and I do think there is some accountability on the left-hand side. Sometimes that we can go a bit too hard on the paint with people. Instead of, like, if they're on our side, be maybe a bit more gentle with them. Because I do think that's what causes people to go, oh, the right isn't going to do this with me. And I mean,
normally I'd agree in terms of, like, so the issues on the left is they're very fucking hang on, I need to find the right word for it.
Critical, skeptical.
No. Oh god, it kind of puritanical. There we go. They're very puritanical in their expectations of what they want people on the left to be. The problem is not everyone is the fucking same, and so there's always this conflict because one person on the left might be, fully understanding, a complete feminist and all that, but it's okay with women being sexualized as long as all parties agree and
not everyone's the same.
Yeah, okay, but
not everyone's a saint. I think would be more better.
Well, yeah, not everyone's the same, but so you get someone like who's like that, but then you'll have people that will harangue that person for just saying that. And it's just like, so the issue with the puritanical aspects of it is that they're trying to police everything that isn't progressive enough. And it's just like, well, what's the end game? Well, the end game is, and if you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, this week's episode, Dennis Reynolds said it perfectly. It goes, I can't tell the difference between the left and the right in terms of clamping down on sexuality and sexual elements on things. I don't know. They're all the fucking same, and that's the thing. There are aspects of the left that are too puritanical that they have become just as bad as the right wing, especially on those kind of issues. Now, it's gotten better. It has, like, the left, there was a lot of infighting between 2016 and 2019, but now people are starting to realize, you know what? The culture war stuff is a lot of bollocks. Let's calm down on it. I know this might sound horrible to say. The black community is a little bit behind with regards to that in terms of their focus. Not that I blame them, considering the fucking racist element are. But no, hang on. No, I'm just saying, like, in every fucking conversation that I hear from like black commentators, it's always, again, you're still focusing on race thing. And I keep saying to you, stop doing that. If you abandon that and you focus on the money thing, you are a much bigger danger to your opposition. But because you bring it back to that, it makes it far easier to kind of harangue you and twist you and manipulate you. And that's that. So aside from that, there are elements of the left where they're just abandoning the culture war stuff. Even now you're seeing they're telling corporations, go fuck yourselves. You're full of shit. I don't want your fucking corporate sponsor money chiming in on my parade and all this kind of stuff and all that. So they're getting better. They are getting more unified. I've noticed that over the years. You are going to get elements of like TYT, who that's on TYT. They fuck up a lot. And the thing is, when you're in that higher position, you should know better. So the kind of reaction that Anna got should have been expected. Some people went in hard, but even the people that didn't go in hard, Anna's reaction was abysmal and unacceptable.
Agreed.
And the problem I have with TYT is that they've rested on their laurels of arrogant, and they're very arrogant because they're like, we were the home of the progressives. We were the first. Hang on, wait. We were the first to do it. And the problem is, other people came along that were smarter, better, and have moved with the times and are more understanding of the current climate. Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur are not as smart as people think. They a lot of their stuff for at the time was smart, was good, but it was very low-hanging fruit. If you know the system, it's very low-hanging fruit. The stuff that other channels deal with, even Carl Kalinske, who he himself has been doing this for fucking God knows how many years. 15 years, I think he's been doing this, okay? Even he is still watchable, enjoyable, and is moving on the times. He's not resting on his laurels. He understands that the climate changes. He moves with the times. All right.
But like everyone has their issues though. With him, him and his brown nosing of Joe Rogan pisses me off beyond belief. He's friends with Joe Rogan, so he kisses his ass on a few issues.
That's fine. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that Joe Rogan is right wing. Sorry.
I think he's become more right wing. By the way, almost every fucking day.
I disagree.
But
who? Joe Rogan?
I don't think he's right.
He said about trans people is a fucking disgrace. You know what I mean?
Joe Rogan is too stupid to know what he is.
Yeah,
he wants to be left wing. He wants to be left wing. Okay,
right wingers on his podcast,
but he has nothing but fucking right wingers on his podcast. He has nothing but the bite-sized idiots that help that idiot understand things the wrong way. Okay, because when he has left-wing people on, it's too complex for him. Because when you're on the left, you have to explain things that take fucking forever. Whereas the right wing, they'll lie and they'll say a snippet of something, and then because people are too stupid to understand, they'll just believe it and take it as gospel. Joe Rogan is no different. He's somebody that, if you take him out of that right-wing environment that he's in, he will happily follow a lot of the left-wing stuff because he's been corrected on it and he's fallen to that wayside. But the problem is he still has these reactionary morons on his podcast that are disingenuous. And I want to say one thing clearly as well. I'm glad that the doctor that he had on years ago that he was agreeing with on the vaccines and suddenly changed didn't debate Robert Kennedy, because there's no debate to have there. Robert Kennedy is a fucking lying anti-vaxxer, whereas the other guy is active in the vaccine community. Okay, he knows his stuff. He knows what he creates. Low cost medicine that isn't patented, that can't be fucking monopolized by the goddamn big pharma. All right, and so this whole thing, and that poor doctor got death threats, got harassed, got doxxed. Okay, all because Joe Rogan, the fucking idiot, wanted him to debate a disingenuous moron who thinks that fucking vaccines magnetize you and all this kind of stupid shit. I mean,
I remember
no,
that shit. Yeah.
no, there is no debate to be had there. You need to understand these people, and I know this sounds horrible, but these are the people that need to be treated as second-class citizens and need to be treated as low scumbags, ones that do refuse to move with the times and understand science and start peddling disingenuous crap. They need to be mocked and they need to be suppressed because they've done so much harm in the world that we are now living in an age where fucking old diseases are coming back. And you cannot take these people seriously, but also you have to treat them with contempt in the same way you would a violent fascist. No fucking different. Same mentality.
They want to, like, you know, they're going against things like that, like the flu jab, which was like nobody gave a shit about, but because of the pandemic, everyone's giving a shit about even things like the flu jab. And on top of that, you know, like if you look at Joe Rogan's videos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, they are beautiful. They are chef's kiss beautiful, because he gets absolutely destroyed by Neil deGrasse Tyson every fucking time.
Every time.
I want to go on a bit more here, but regarding Brian Taylor Colin is the man. Listen, for me, he's just a bit too much of a Democratic ass kisser, but I do like him. You know what I mean? But he's there. Carl is too wordy. I hate the way he cuts his videos. He makes me laugh with some of his comments. Personally,
I don't like how he does his videos now. I used to prefer when he would just play the clip and then talk about it. Now he does what everyone else does, and I fucking hate it. Plays a little bit of the clip, commentates, plays a little bit, commentates. It's like, I don't need to see the clip. I've seen the clip. This is why I prefer. My favorite is Farron Cousins from Ring of Fire, because he doesn't show anything, because he knows the audience knows about it.
I'm a little bit different to you, but sometimes the only time I know about the clip is when they're showing it. You know, I would never.
Mate, I would have seen it on Twitter already, and I would have seen Hassan Abi talk about it, do it already. So seeing 10 people do it, it's just like, no, come on. I used to like how you used to do it. It's like you just play the whole clip, and then you talk about it. I don't need the clip, talk, clip, talk, clip, talk. It's just like play the whole thing, then talk about it. So then I could skip the clip and just listen to their opinion.
Well, let's go to Ryan Gerald's here. It's actually 1:30 in the morning. Joe Rogan is the exact same person he was on news radio. I don't think he was acting back then. But I want. Sorry, I got a lot to say here. Regarding left and the right, what it is, what I like being about the left is that we hold our people accountable. There's no hero worship, like, you know. This is a bad example, but you know, we people in America who vote for the Democratic Party, nobody's really a massive Biden mark. You know, they're not wearing Biden shirts, not flying Biden flags and stuff like that. They might throw out the odd meme about him if he does something good here and there, but the levels of cultism, the level of cultism, which is started by the right, by the way, so in terms of using it back against them, but the level of cultism on the right regarding political worship, which ends up being their identity by the right wing for people like Donald Trump, is terrible. I mean, Donald Trump is their identity, is who they are. You know, their personality is based around this fucking politician, and it should never be about that, because you need to hold your politicians accountable and not fucking worship them and keep a safe distance from them, but they will let you down now and again, and you need to make them explain themselves for you. But with someone like Donald Trump, because he said a few fucking stupid things, he said a few idiotic, crazy things like Mexico's going to pay for a wall. They're all in on this guy now. You know what I mean? And it's absolutely bizarre. But going back to people like TYT, I'm very happy that we are holding these guys accountable and not worshipping them. You know what I mean? Because you see that with political people on the right, they are absolutely worshipped. The right, they love to worship, their figureheads, whether it be Donald Trump or or more recently, Russell Brand now, who switched sides and stuff like that, who's absolutely worshipped and stuff like that.
The grifters.
Yeah, but the fact that they worship these guys and everything that
Yeah.
comes out their mouth is kind of sad, really. Like you
Yeah,
guys, you don't hold, you genuinely don't hold any any skepticism in amongst your politicians. You worship these people, and they are
Yeah.
part of your actual personality and identity.
The
I
only
like it.
time, just 1 second, Gary, and then I'll go right to you. The only time they ever hold them accountable is when they say something progressive. And then they're like, oh, hang on a second. What do you mean you're pro this? Fuck you, buddy. Yeah, go on, Gary.
But
Oh, sorry.
I was
One more
gonna
thing.
say-
One more
Go
thing. Just to add to that, like when Donald Trump actually promoted the vaccines, that was the only time his own base turned against him.
Yeah,
The one
exactly.
time he did something good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, go on,
Yeah.
Gary.
I was going to say, but isn't it important to debate bad ideas in a public forum? Because, like let's take the old RFKG thing.
RFK Jr., yeah.
Yeah. I think he should have his ideas debated in an open
No.
public forum.
No.
But I know you're going to disagree with me.
No,
but
I'll tell you why. Hang on. I'll tell you why. No, wait. I'll tell you why. Because his ideas are exactly the same as every other anti-vaxxers. You heard one, you heard them all. He brings nothing new to the table. Therefore, there is no point in hearing his stuff out. And I'll say this. I'm fucking sick and tired of this. The right and left should have debates. There is nothing to debate with the right anymore. There is nothing to debate.
Misinformation, conspiracy theories, bullshit,
exactly.
doing on bollocks.
Liars,
What you gonna do? Yeah.
full authoritarian bullshit artists. All right.
JFK is going to come back to life and reinstate Trump. You want to debate that? You fucking debate that. I ain't debating that.
From that, we need to fucking start treating the right with the same contempt they treat the left, and we need to be as hard and as aggressive and disgustingly vile towards them as they are towards us.
Yes,
because
I've been saying that for a long time.
They are cowards. They are absolute cowards.
Insult them, mock them, ridicule them.
Exactly. They thrive on authoritarianism. They need a leader. All right. They need a leader because they're too stupid to govern through life through themselves. So they need this fucking cult of personality to worship. All right, because they're too stupid to understand the word. And I'm sick and tired of people trying to put them on any kind of pedestal with anyone else. They are stupid human beings that need to fucking learn the hard way of just how stupid they are. And they need to be mocked, ridiculed, suppressed, and fucking treated as badly as they treat us.
Look how they're treating the fucking trans people right now. These motherfuckers
exactly.
with information.
They want to eradicate trans people.
Yeah.
And there is no point in fucking talking to these people and trying to level with them. You are talking about the destruction and eradication of another minority group, all right? And they're going after the gay people now. Okay, there is no level playing field. Go on, Gary.
Yeah,
But I'll say this, right? There's an infamous debate. I think it was James Baldwin. I can't remember who the other guy was. It was where basically James Baldwin pulled this guy apart factually. We can do that with the whole trans thing because these people have one or two talking points. They debate.
They don't care.
Gary, listen, and again, you're talking about the past. We are now in an era of fascism. We are now in an era where the right-wing voices are not just talking about preserving capitalism. Okay, we are in an era now where they are actively destroying democracy, what was left of it. Okay, They need to be punched as hard as they are punching. And back in the day, we didn't allow them. We didn't give fascists an inch. Back in the day, if you look what happened in this country, what did we do? We went out, we beat the shit out of them. Same thing
We
that happened to
ridiculed it.
okay. We went and beat them up in the 90s when the NF had a resurgence in my area. We grouped together as ethnic minorities and we actively hunted them down and beat the living shit out of them and did not give them an inch. Did not give them an inch. They could get away with it in school because there was more of them, but once they were out, they were 11 playing field, and we fucking terrorized them and bullied them because that's what they were doing to us. The only difference between what we were doing is we had no intention of killing anyone or fucking harming them in a way where there's no coming back from them. They wanted to do that. They wanted to fucking kill us. They wanted to set us on fire. All right. The amount of times they used to come down to the park with petrol cans trying to set us on fire. All right. So we gathered together, we beat the shit out of them, and they never fucking returned. And this is exactly what you must always do with authoritarianism. My biggest issue with the left is we've gotten too fucking soft and we're too much of a pushover. And we shouldn't be doing that. The minute Keir Starmer started attacking the left, sorry, go on.
We're doing talking points like what Gary wants, like let's just bring him to the table and discuss things.
No. That's over now.
Exactly, none of that. And we're talking about people who, once they've been debunked and proven wrong, they don't give a fuck. They'll still go back to those talking points the next day,
exactly.
like it never happened. Like it never happened.
Tim Paul,
Paul,
for example, he had his ass handed to him by Emma Vigeland. She went on the show. What did she do? She destroyed him. She tore him apart with facts. What does Tim Paul do, Gary? Calls her a pedophile, then starts to make up a bunch of lies about her afterwards to kind of help save face. But even his own co-hosts were like, nah, dude, that's a bit much. Nah, she had a fair point there. All right. These are the kind of people we're dealing with now. There is no level playing field. There is no thing. And what happens every time a left-leaning person goes onto these places? What does the audience do? They start sending death threats. They start talking about violence, doxing, all this kind of shit. So this is the audience that you want to put on a level playing field to have a debate. There's no debate. There's no debate.
That guy, that Trump supporter who was given Obama's address by Donald Trump and there to assassinate him.
Yeah,
I mean these are
the people that we want to have debates with. There's no debate. I've told you now.
I don't want to debate
come down hard.
Fascists and bigots and stuff like that. They know what they are doing. They genuinely, it's not like they are unaware and they need to be enlightened. A lot of them are very much on a power trip. They don't want equality. They don't want any of that. They know what they're doing. They like to oppress. And
that's it. It's all about controlling you on every micro level. And here's a prime example of their hypocrisy. These are the same people that are pro guns. They're guns above everything else. So when a bunch of trans people showed up to a rally with their guns to protect their own, the right wing had a fucking meltdown and said, how dare they do this? Look at them. They are attacking peaceful protests and all that. And the trans people were like, well, no, we're just exercising our Second Amendment rights. You read into that what you want. But you see, it's never about a level playing field, because what happens when you try to push your ideology and it comes back to bite you? So look what happened in Utah with the Bible, where the school banned the Bible and they won the case as well. I love that because it contains a lot of sex and violence in the Bible. And so they were able to use their own rhetoric against them. And what happens when they do that? They have a fucking meltdown. They try to move the goalposts, try to change the rules yet again, and all this kind of shit. These are not honest people. They are pieces of shit, and they do not deserve any respect or any time of day. They need to be come down hard on. That's all I have to say on that. I'll just quickly go on here. Did you hear Putin surviving the assassination to blow up a bridge when they explode? Why do they always survive these attempts? Like, just once.
I mean, that's where the conspiracy theories start coming in, because was it really genuinely being killed, or was it like trying to make it look like it was?
Could be a false flag as well. Yeah.
I said he always gets the good guys. He never gets the bad guys, does it?
Yeah, damn right. Yeah. Fucking.
By the way, I mean, I could agree. I think that we on the left have been too placid in the way that we approach. Because the thing is that like, because if we pushed back against the shit electoral system, especially in this country, I mean, that first past the poll system isn't worth the paper it's flaming on.
It's designed.
It's
press.
unrepresentative.
Yeah.
It's unrepresentative.
Yep.
It's dishonest.
Yep.
It doesn't give people the actual people they probably do want. Like, for example, like I live, as people know, I live in Scotland, right? We want independence. And I think that if we didn't have that first past the poll system, we probably would have had it in 2014.
Yeah. Exactly. It's undemocratic, but that's again the West is what the West has always done wonderfully is give you the illusion of democracy when in reality it's like we'll say you're democratic and you can call us a cunt, but we'll make sure that whoever you vote for is still aiding and abetting the banks and the rich, and any country that dares to fucking go against that thing, well, we'll just overthrow your governments, and that's it. Democracy doesn't exist, not even in Scandinavian countries. It just doesn't
the
exist.
person who's actually for that sort of thing. So, like Jeremy Corbyn, for example.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you go against the establishment that come after you, and you know, democracy just doesn't exist in the world. It's a lie. It's a big lie because America and Britain have crushed it everywhere. Everywhere in every fucking country. Name me a country, I will tell you they have fucking crushed it there. You think they didn't go after the Scandinavian countries as well? The Scandinavian countries, they're neoliberal countries, okay? They're slightly center left, if anything. Now they're not. Some of them got fucking far right governments in there and all this kind of shit. So it's a facade.
Finland and Sweden.
Yeah, it's a facade.
It's a real shit, but that's
doesn't exist.
But the far right government for Finland and Sweden is not going to change their socialistic values because they still want to keep that. They just want to shit on foreigners. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
they fundamentally do anything against the foreigners either. Every time a right-wing government comes in, what happens? Every time a right-wing government comes in, more fucking foreigners get into the country. More. Because they love the cheap labor. And it gives them wonderful ammunition. And again, this is dealing with how stupid right-wingers are. The Tories have been in power for 13 years. They've done fuck all to get rid of foreign invaders, foreigners, and all this kind of
we can go on about all the time.
They've let in more foreigners during their 13 years than any other government in UK history. And yet, the right-wingers, voters, don't look around and say, well, hang on a second, why am I voting for these cunts if I want to get rid of these cunts? It's like they're too stupid to understand that the people that you voted in power have not done a very good job in keeping out immigration because they've cut funding to every fucking service. They've robbed you blind, but you're so stupid that you keep blaming the woke culture. What the fuck has woke got to do with immigration?
You know what? Maybe the Western world would stop fucking, like raping all these countries for their resources and overthrowing their governments, and maybe the people within those countries wouldn't feel they have the need to fucking find asylum elsewhere. That's the number one. And they end up going to the countries that have been doing all this damage in the fucking first place. Yeah,
and that's number
South
one.
America or Middle East or whatever. Africa.
That's the number one thing I keep bringing up with every single right winger that talks about foreigners. I said, okay, you don't want them in. Stop voting for governments that are going to blow those countries up, because we're the reason they're coming over here. The Americans are the reason why there are so many record number of refugees now in the 21st century than at any other time in history. During peacetime. Okay. And why is that? Because the fucking Americans are in there blowing the shit up out of Africa. Just because they don't want the Africans to do deals with the Chinese, and they don't want the other side of Africa fucking ditching the dollar. So they're in there with their military, just causing as much chaos as possible.
Africa's got everything. Africa doesn't need the rest of the world. Africa has got resources galore. They've got food, vegetables, everything galore. Yeah,
they can literally trade within themselves and survive comfortably.
Yeah. And exactly. They've got so much gold in that country. Because of Western interference, every politician who's tried to make it a socialized country, they get assassinated.
Yeah, they get
And
overthrown, they get
yeah,
assassinated. Like I've got
yeah,
no,
it's
like
crazy.
people bang on about like Nelson Mandela and all this kind of shit, and I'm like, well, what did Nelson Mandela do? As soon as he got free and then he got elected president, what did he do? He did nothing financially significant to progress his people. He spent billions on buying fucking military equipment, and he was openly criticized about that, but saying we don't have any enemies. We
He was
literally have
never
no enemies. What we're going to do? Get spears chucked at us by Zimbabwe? They were saying, like, it's fucking ridiculous that the money. So again, like he just fell in line like a good little boy, got
He
elected,
wasn't. Yeah,
and he
he
just
Well,
did
wasn't.
what the
I,
Americans
I,
wanted.
I'm
Some
gonna.
people are not meant to be leaders of countries, and Nelson Mandela might have been somebody of like that Martin Luther King ilk, but doesn't mean that they should be there to lead the country
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
I do think he did some good things, like for example, helping navigate the country through the end of apartheid and to
Yeah, but that doesn't make you worthy of running a country. Like
no, but
being
that's what
being
he did.
being in,
for the country.
yeah, I mean that goes without saying regarding some of the inspirational things that he's done. But
But they
that
still haven't fixed.
being
Like South Africa is one of the richest fucking countries in the world. Okay, it's in the G20, and yet they have the worst crime, the worst violence because they put no fucking policies forward to help improve the lives of their own people. Apartheid's gone, but capitalism is still fucking running rampant there. All right, and any kind of progressive policies that they try to put in, they'll just get fucking overthrown. So this is what I mean. This happens in every
and,
fucking country.
there are places there are places in South Africa which still want to have that element of apartheid in it. Like they have certain bars and stuff like that where they won't let
Oh,
black
of
people
course.
in.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it never goes
They
away.
still have that.
Yeah,
Because
but
there's people
it's
who
not.
harken back to the good old days.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
just
mean?
it's just frustrating that like America's a cancer on the wall. And if we got rid of it, we'd have world peace fucking overnight. Well, them, the British and the French.
No, because unfortunately,
But
Ginger, the king is gone. Long live the king. So there will always be somebody else who would want to be that tyrannical country if America wasn't that
But
tyrannical country themselves.
I do think there is socialist change coming in this country. Like, for example, there
Really?
seems to be a lot more support for nationalisation. Like, for example, the rails.
Yeah, but would it get done though? But this is the thing because governments don't listen to their fucking people, man. You know what I mean?
And the
Does Labour
thing is as well, if you're voting in like Labour are not going to fucking nationalise anything. They're literally as bad as the fucking Tories. Like, so while it's popular, the system is going to be there to make sure that it doesn't happen because it's going to affect profits. There was the leaked messages that came out from the guy who, the CEO of Severn Trent Water. I mean, CEO of a water company. That just fucking blows my mind. But they're saying we must stop nationalization at all costs. Okay, these rich fucking people. The problem with the rich people is they don't want to share anything with anyone. They're just a bunch of selfish, self-centered, greedy cunts, and all of that. So
that's why
yes,
left-wing movements are so difficult because they don't have backing of rich people because it will go against rich people's interests. That's why
exactly
it's difficult to be on the left.
exactly. But
everything grassroots.
I mean, the thing. So again, I'm going to sound arrogant here, but I don't care because I love it. But I'm very good at predicting a lot of things, and two of the things that I predicted was one, that after the fall of Corbyn, there's going to be smaller left-wing parties that are going to start propping up, and that's exactly what happened, and that we're going to go pushing for more anti-democratic laws, which is also what's happening. Now, on the former thing that I was talking about, this, like, people might think, oh no, but we need one big, strong left-wing party. Absolutely not. The hardest way to control people is to have many different left-wing parties that will form a coalition to come together for the common cause, which is the betterment and progress of society. However, when they're a smaller party, they're harder to infiltrate. They're better. It's easier to vet people that are coming in. All right. And if you're picking up little pockets of victory here and there and everywhere, it's just harder to control. And this is what we're seeing, and it's going to take a while because it's again we're first past the post and all these wildly undemocratic systems that we do have. It's going to take a while, but we're going to see it. The Greens will eventually just overtake Labour. The Tories will die. Labour will become the new right-wing party. The Greens will hopefully be like the second biggest party, because the Lib Dems just fucking flounder back and forth as number 3. But then we'll see pockets of smaller left-wing parties as well, and I'm just hoping that's the way we go with younger generations, but before it's too late as well, because there is the looming inevitability that happens with all capitalist countries, and that's fucking fascism comes in when poverty.
Well, it's not just that, but I think people, the sellouts of those who lead the way, because I think capitalism will dig their hooks into somebody who is quite prominent on the left and make them switch, and buy them out, so that they end up giving a different message. And that also what concerns me, because I do feel that in the next generation or two of younger people will be more left-leaning, because there is nothing going for them right now under capitalism, nothing whatsoever. But anyone who starts making a bit of noise and has a bit of clout, I unfortunately feel that capitalism and will jump on these guys,
Well,
give them a lot,
there is
give them
that
a bit
risk.
of money.
Yeah, I mean, there is always that.
silence their voices.
Can't dismiss it. Just
The thing is that I think if when Starmer goes away, that maybe that left wing element start coming back into the Labour Party. Because
Nah.
I think
nah. It takes too much private donor money for that, and you don't start getting rid of all the left wing elements, and even throwing out a record number of Jews that just so happen to be left wing out your party. If people, and this is what I'm getting pissed off with, people who think that, oh no, but Starmer afterwards he's going to do this, and this, and it's like no, he's just going to carry on with the Tory policies, and he's just going to just allow the Tories back in as well. But that's why we need, hopefully, because we're going to have 5 years of Labour, by that point, the Greens would have built themselves up a lot more, because they took a lot of council seats in the last by-election. They did better, than what Labour wanted it to be. And that's why they've already started smearing them, saying, hey, if you take in ex-Labour MPs and you're anti-Semitic, it's like, go fuck yourself. The Board of Deputies, they all need to be arrested and fucking treated as foreign interference, because they're just fucking disgusting. I want to read this comment here. As a US citizen, I can only wrap my hand around it when you say left wing, because
you don't have a left wing in America. That's why.
Are vastly different. They're not vastly different, not really. Maybe
you don't have a left wing in this country either, to be true. But
no, we have left wing parties in this country. They're just
no.
not.
I'm just saying it's becoming like the Labour Party was supposed to be our left wing party, not anymore.
No,
and
now
in
now
America,
the Greens have gone. The Greens have gone more left wing than what they were. They were centre left, but now they've gone more green. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. But
just that in America, the Democrats get called left wing because when it comes to certain social issues, they are quite left wing, especially when it comes to trans and gay issues for sure. But economically, they ain't fucking left wing whatsoever. If they were, we'd have a public healthcare by now, and they have.
But I want. Hang on, Vance. I want you to elaborate a bit more what you mean by the how they're vastly different. Because if you're talking about citizens, not really, because the principles are the same. Universal healthcare, free universities, better public transport, better investment in public infrastructure, more democratized workplace, more democratized local elections and local voices. That's that the ideology on the left is the same. It follows the socialist principles. I don't know if you mean it in terms of political parties. In that case, vastly fucking different. So I just elaborate more on that, fella. Anyway,
if you can give me 99 cents for my sleeping face.
This is why I prefer our system to the American system, because they are basically a two-party system, whereas we have one parties that can come in, even though it's probably very unlikely. But I do think there are going to be fast ways of typical Labour voters who are going to start not voting for them. are not going to vote Tory. They're going to start voting maybe like, as you say before, Green or even like, maybe
Green,
like,
Tusk, SWP, Breakthrough Party, NIP, I said SWP, but there's I think there's like the Welsh Communist Party, there's the English Communist Party, there are loads propping up. Here they call left-wing radicals for the principles, but your left wing goes further than ours. Your far left is more like Bernie and ALC here, which they consider insane. Well, I mean, Bernie and ALC are tame compared to our left wingers. Like our left wingers are just, they're just normal. Just Jeremy Corbyn. Just picture Jeremy Corbyn, and that is the British left. My issue with the American left, well, the Americans in general, is that they're fucking, because of they've grown up on this individualism of having to be like the main character syndrome. Even the left wing in America suffers this. They get too fucking tribal and too bogged down on microcosms and all this kind of shit, just so that they can stand out. Whereas if you look at the left here in the UK, we're just like, look, I want my fucking NHS. Don't destroy my NHS. I want to re-own my water, my railway, and I want to be able to fucking have a house. And that's it. And that's why the left wing is more united here. My biggest issue with the left wing in this country is actually my biggest issue is with Jeremy Corbyn, and he frustrates me because Labour don't want him in there. That's fine. All he has to do is leave and either join the Tusk, Greens, whoever, start his own fucking party, and that's it. He will wipe out fucking Labour in the next election. He'll wipe them out because the momentum there. The poll that came out recently puts him.
Was it the most popular leader in Britain or something?
Yeah, I've got it right here. Let me see. Where is it?
As you're looking for that, but I get a lot of people in my car. And I talk about Corbyn with them, and they're saying to me they're glad that he's not prime minister, but he would have ruined the country. And I clear my throat and I go to him, excuse me, you telling me the country's not ruined already under the Tories? What the fuck are you talking about? It's been ruined under Boris Johnson and his successors.
Again, these people are not worth taking seriously. They're idiots who have been propagandized by the Daily Mail and the Sun and the Guardian. So here we go. Approval for current/former Labour leaders. The second quarter of 2023 brackets April and June. At bottom is Neil Kinnock at 20%. He's gone up 3 points. Miliband. Fuck Kinnock. He was a piece of shit. Miliband, 21%. Blair, 24%. He's actually dropped 4 points. Brown.
Those two guys.
Yeah, Brown.
And fuck him as well.
27%, down 2 points.
All right wingers.
Keir Starmer, down.
Right,
shut up. Keir Starmer, 29%, down 2 points. And at the top of the list, and has recently gone up 11 points, is Jeremy Corbyn at 30%. Okay, this shows you, and there was an article that's popped up, I think it's called From Open Democracy, who are wonderful, do amazing work, that said that the spirit of Corbynism is not dead, is very much alive, and it's not fucking going away. And this is why I get frustrated, because I'm like, for fuck's sake, Corbyn, for the love of God, start your own party or join an established left-wing party, because then it's game over. Labour, you owe nothing to Labour. Fuck Labour.
It's just a party. It's just a name.
It's just a name.
The ideology is what matters.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I am not a lifelong Labour supporter. I'm not a lifelong Tory. I'm not a lifelong Lib Dem. I have voted where it's needed. I've even voted for Boris Johnson because I hated Ken Livingstone that much. All right. I hated him because Ken Livingstone betrayed. I voted for him when he was an independent, not a Labour thing. And what did he do when he came in? The fucking anti-car guy who wanted people on public transport, he doubled the price of buses and tubes and he jacked up our council or he allowed council tax hikes to happen under his leadership. Okay, he was a hypocrite and a fucking sellout. And fuck him. And I voted for Boris Johnson, and I was happy to vote for Boris Johnson. And what did Boris Johnson do? Within this first year of term, he got rid of the Western extension of the congestion charge. All right. That at the time painted him as somebody who's like, okay, he's a Tory, but he's not a cunt. Of course, obviously, now it's a different story. But at the time, when you've dealt 8 years of Ken Livingstone and how much he ruined London, all right, fucking Boris and his corruption was a breath of fresh air, because at least he was preoccupied with doing nothing. Because he did nothing for 8 years, but he got rid of the Western extension of the congestion charge. And that was a huge relief to a lot of us in the building industry. And so I've voted where I felt that I needed to vote. When Corbyn was leader, I voted for Labour, even though I loathe my MP, who was caught on video talking to fucking members of the Israeli embassy to kind of help sabotage Corbyn's campaign. She was the one that was exposed, and that was my MP. But I still voted for her twice under Corbyn's leadership. All right. So I have no loyalty, and Corbyn should not have any loyalty to his own party. He should be like, okay, I'm going to go off to start my own party, and now you're in deep shit. Okay, and then we'll see what that happens, because the anti-Semitism is not sticking. It's only working among right-wingers and idiotic liberals like David Landon Cole and Fratis.
Right-wingers, right-wingers who are who are anti-Semitic themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, and people like Yasmin who believe this kind of shit, and it's just like, okay, you're stupid.
They're neoliberals, dude. I mean, like
they're neoliberals, exactly. They're neoliberals.
Every time a politician comes along on the left who is there to help regular people, they hate them. They genuinely fucking hate them. You know what I mean?
They're against progress because they're scared of progress. They don't understand it, so they stay in there. That's why you get a lot of highly intelligent people who are unbelievably stupid when it comes to politics, because it scares them. They don't understand it, so they want to play it safe. But playing it safe.
Oh yeah, look, being academically clever and being self-aware and streetwise, they're two different levels of intelligence.
100%.
Look, I had this girl who was I knew this girl who was also studying to be a teacher, and she was cutting my hair. She was doing hairdressing classes, and her name is Davinia, and she was cutting my hair, and she fucked up my hair big time, yeah. And then I asked her, have you got anything to sort my hair out, like some hair gel? No. Any hair wax? No. Any hair cream? No. How about some hair oil? And she goes, give me 1 minute. And she comes back with fucking cooking oil. Yeah?
Jesus.
Now, the point is that this is a smart girl who studied to be a teacher, but it doesn't matter that she studied to be a teacher. She was still being a fucking idiot when it came to giving me the right thing I needed. Ben Carson is a fucking brain surgeon. He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a fucking idiot.
But
being academically clever doesn't mean that you're socially aware of things, on certain issues. You're so fucking blinded. Like, I've had so many debates with people in my cab regarding stuff like that. The amount of people who go on about trans people in sports. Like, who gives a fuck? People are struggling to pay their bills. Who gives a fuck if a fucking, if a tranny is fucking playing?
That's one in like 20,000 fucking athletes. It's like, who cares?
Why is this such a fundamental issue? I need money to pay my fucking bills.
I tell you what's an issue, Sam. It's because some people are so stupid to think it is an issue. But trans people like 0.
No, well said.
Trans people, 0.1% of the population, right? Do you know how much of the population at large are elite athletes? It's probably like 1%, maybe 2%.
Yeah,
and I'm probably being generous with that.
2% of footballers. I know all of this, but then you see people like Ron DeSantis. When he's doing his campaign stuff, he's talking about trans people in sport like it's the biggest deal for regular people.
They treat it
Regular
like it's
people-
an epidemic when it really
Yeah.
isn't.
Oh,
You know.
it annoyed me because like why are these politicians giving a fuck about these things when real societal issues are the most important fucking things and they don't focus on any
Well,
of that?
no, the
You know what I mean?
politicians do it as a distraction. For me, it's why are ordinary people focusing on this
Yeah, of
kind of
course.
shit? Like my friends do that. Like I say to my friends, you know what? Right now, you're acting like you know everything about trans people. I said tomorrow, you're the same people because now they're attacking gay people. You're going to start talking about gay people tomorrow, and then after that, you're going to start talking about climate change again and how it's all fake. Do you know why? Because you're stupid. You are the smartest people I know academically, but in terms of politics, you're stupid, you're easily led because you cannot understand the complexities that comes with the political sphere. All right. But people like me that live it, love it for the wrong reasons. Okay. People like me that breathe politics, people like you that breathe politics, people like Gary that breathe politics in the sense that how we've grown up with left wing media that is openly criticizes all aspects, even themselves. All right, understand it for what it is because there is no agenda there. The agenda is to say, hey, we need to progress as a society. Everyone and their mother said that this is the best system that works. And that's what all the fucking rich cunts are fighting against. But people just don't see it. They keep buying into even my brother, who's supposed to be smart, was fucking foaming at the mouth, thinking that when Corbyn got voted in, he'll have to give up his house and he's going to be paying through the nose on taxes. I'm like, Alex, you're going to pay 20 fucking quid more a month on what you earn because he's a high earner. You're going to pay 20
what you earn
a month
Yeah.
extra, £5 extra a week. And I showed it to him. I showed him that, and he still would not fucking believe it. And it's just like,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to be the dumb one in the family, but I'm
Well,
not.
Right wingers
well, I
think
was
that
gonna say-
25% of the US population in America are trans.
How many?
It's 20. I think 24%. 24.
No,
Almost a quarter. They believe the
that's
quarter.
very high. I don't think it's that high.
No, it's not high.
it's 1%.
No. The point is, it's not even the percent. But the point is that they're so fucking deluded and they're so brainwashed and so misinformed. They think a quarter of the fucking country is fucking.
Oh, did you say
transgender.
0.25%?
No, 25%.
That's a
Yeah,
high
it would
number,
be-
man. That's more
Yeah,
than that's larger than the black population.
Dude,
It's
the point
0.1.
is, they obviously misinformed. They got it wrong. It was like that time when somebody thought that
Oh, they think that 25% of the country.
yeah.
Oh
It's
my.
a bit like that time when somebody thought that I think it was Glenn Beck. He said 10% of all Muslims are terrorists or something like that. You remember he said something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think like Jesus Christ, you're so fucking backwards on that as well.
That's like
But,
that's just, you're just saying that 103 million Muslims in the world
Yeah.
are fucking terrorists. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's higher number. It's all of them, damn it.
Right, I was just going to say,
Go on,
to
guys.
you both, right. So I don't really often watch Good Morning Britain, but I'm still subscribed to that thing. Right, Martin Lewis was talking about the fact that recently there was like this AI uncanny valley stuff done with his thing, with him saying that he promoted this, basically a scam written by.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. He was talking about the fact that it was on Facebook and he had this advert where he was promoting some scam, and he was like walking along and some guy said, "Oh, you," and he turned around. He says, "I've put money into that thing you told me to invest." I went, "I don't do adverts, mate." He went, "No, literally, you do adverts because you do this one." I said, "No, literally, I do not do adverts." And he says, "I'm literally there arguing with this guy, telling him I do not do adverts, and he's literally telling me You know, not somebody, one of his friends, literally me, that I did. It took me 10 minutes to tell this guy, I do not do adverts. It's a scam.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
like, it's like,
again, it's just trying to get through to people that are just fucking stupid. And the thing is, he had
Yeah.
problems trying to get that thing removed from Facebook. Facebook would not comply. He had to take them to court, and even then, they just would not fucking remove. They just, yeah. But on that thing, yeah, it's just dealing with fucking stupid, stubborn people, and yeah. Speaking of stupid people, Elon Musk, who's completely fucked Twitter up beyond repair.
Fred is alright, by the way. He's not that great. Basically.
I'm not signing up to another Zuckerberg fucking product. Fuck that. I'll wait for Blue Sky to come out, which is Jack Dorsey's.
Fuck Blue Sky, dude. This waiting list is going on forever, yeah? You know what I mean?
I'm not signed up to it. I'm just going to wait and see. I'm not signed up to it.
I'm not signed up to either, but, you know, there's a waiting list for this shit. If Jack Dorsey, take your waiting list, shine it up real nice, turn that son of a bitch sideways, and show up your fucking candy ass.
No, that's fine.
Because it's not, because I've waited long enough. You know, you want me to go on Blue Sky? You're not offering fucking Blue Sky, so now I'm gonna go to your competitors, which is fucking Fred, because I'm already got fucking Instagram and fucking Facebook. So the signing up process is that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so,
I mean that's fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, but I look. I mean, I fucking like Twitter. I'll pop in, say something, jump off. I barely spend any time on Twitter these days. I'm not gonna miss it when it goes. But the point is like, you know, with the launch of Threads, obviously Musk being, you know, free market capitalism is trying to sue Meta because he wants to claim copyright infringement and that he stole all his talent.
Man.
He's such an idiot. Like, the more this guy does stuff, the more he's stupid. Like, he's just really dumb, who was just given a lot of money and able to fucking wrangle his way through.
Fail upwards. This is why I get pissed off with Cheeto, because he fucking worships this guy. Yeah, and SpaceX, I'm telling you right now, SpaceX ain't fucking happening. I put both my testicles on it, yeah. Regarding him colonizing Mars in his lifetime, it ain't fucking happening ever. Not in his fucking lifetime, for sure. You know,
well, not colonizing it. I want him to get to Mars, but I don't give a shit about colonizing it.
I don't think he's getting to Mars anytime soon. The motherfucker can't even get a
not him.
rocket.
I'm just saying us. Like in our lifetimes, I would like to, but no, I don't. I don't know.
We're only a few years younger than Musk ourselves, so it's more than the same lifetime right now. But I'm just saying that you know he's still doing test rockets to end up having something where you end up going to Mars. I mean, the level of technology is far superior than what he's doing right now. You know, I mean, people honestly assume that this motherfucker was going to colonize Mars. It ain't fucking happening. All he gives a fuck about is going on Twitter and pandering to right-wing dickheads.
Yeah.
That's all he fucking does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a complete
Elon Musk. You know, fuck him. Fuck everything about him. You know what I mean? I hate him. I genuinely hate that man. I hate him passionately.
For all mankind. Oh, I'll give that a watch, Mr. Vance. Let's have a look. Search Google.
Actually, there's that thing on Apple TV.
Exploring the possibilities that might exist in the global space race to continue and where humanity will be now.
That thing with Idris Elba I need to review, which is on Apple, by the way. So
what's that?
There's this TV show or movie that I need to review. Was on Apple with Idris Elba about plane hijacking or something.
Oh yeah, I can't fuck. I hate plane hijacking crap. But yeah, I'll watch your review when you do it, just to see whether it's worth it. Plane was a good film though. I like Plane, but that's because it doesn't it doesn't spend all the time with the plane. You know, the whole thing happens and they crash, and then you know they go from there, and it's a great action film. You know, Gerard Butler. Yeah, I keep forgetting to put it in my top fucking films of 2023. It's one of the best space series to come out in the past 5 years, top 3. Well, I'll give it a watch. It's not my cup of tea, but I'll give it a watch. Something to watch. Yeah, I mean,
Elon
Musk, complete fucking knob jockey. And he's just a petty fucking arsehole. Like his anti-trans rhetoric is just because he's salty because his daughter disowned him and she's trans.
He's got 10 kids, man. You think he gives a fuck about any of them? You know, he probably fucking
He doesn't give a shit about it. Oh yeah, that was the other thing as well. That was the main thing. This fucking idiot. It was he went on Twitter saying, "Oh, childless couples should not have the right to vote." I was just like, "What? How stupid are you?" So you're saying like people that adopt, people that can't have children, don't have a right to vote? Like he just
yeah.
he just spews out diarrhea every time. But again, he's somebody that he's 100% on the fucking spectrum. He said it himself, like he's autistic, and it just shows you, like, you have to be fucking careful because the like high functioning people on the spectrum can be very volatile and reactionary as anyone else. And it's just the sad thing with him though is that number one, he's a billionaire, and number two, he has the trait of obsessiveness to the point of it's just dangerous. And he's just he just fucking, I hope Twitter breaks him. I hope Twitter destroys him completely and somebody comes in and buys it for like $10. And
because well, I think at the moment it's literally like becoming something that people are leaving in droves, because literally like from what I'm reading, like everything he keeps on doing makes it worse. Like
Yeah.
I can't remember what he did.
I'm on the verge of deactivating my account.
It's like TYT where though he's always going to have a core set of fans in TYT. Not millions, but definitely in Twitter, there'll still be millions of people who will stick to Twitter because it's what they know. I mean, even myself, I have to refrain myself because I like Twitter, but I do notice the differences under Elon Musk prior to him being the owner, and it definitely got worse. And all the people I see on the main thread are right wing fucking arseholes.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate it. I genuinely fucking hate it. And you do a search and stuff like that, you will find lefties there ripping on the right, but they are never the prominent people. You have to do the search in order to find it, you know? So
yeah, it's just become everything that Musk didn't like about it. He turned it into everything that he thought he was trying to fight against. But you know, so be it. Like I said, I'm on the verge of deactivating my account. Every time I pop on there, I'm like, what is this shit? I'm not following these fucking people. I don't give a shit. Like, you know, I've started using Reddit more than anything else now, because Reddit's fucking it's hilarious.
well, like I said, regardless of Zuckerberg shit, just have a give a shot. You use fucking Facebook and already, man. Does it really fucking matter?
I'll probably end up on it. But I'm not desperate. Like I don't.
I hope Shred is listening. Like, you know, he boycotts fucking Ronda Rousey and Logan Paul, but he's still watching something that's fucking created by Vince McMahon. Like, either boycott it all or don't boycott it, or don't boycott any of it. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to.
That's fair. It's
think,
not a boycott thing. I just don't want another Zuckerberg. Like, I barely use Instagram. Like Facebook, I use because
I barely use Instagram too.
You know, I just Facebook. I'm on it because I like Facebook in the sense that my feed is just funny and fun. And
friends and family and
all this kind of stuff, and it's curated in a way that I like it, even though the fucking feed itself is all over the place because of Zuckerberg's stupid algorithm, and I'm getting things from 7 days ago, 10 days ago, rather than what's going on right now. And even when you click on the newsfeed tab where you can get to most recent, it's changed again, and it's just not accurate. And it's so, but despite that, I still enjoy Facebook for my main social media platform, just because, again, funny, enjoyable, and it's just me and my friends and a couple of pages that I like that are to my liking. Whereas Twitter has taken that away now. Twitter is just like, here's a bunch of right-wingers and good luck finding anyone of your ilk. Reddit, again, I just have fun with it because I love winding up Americans who take things too fucking literal. So for me, it's a little playground there. I've been banned from so many fucking groups.
And so regarding Instagram, for me, it's just too many social media things for me to get involved in. You know, like I'm happy just to do 2 or 3, but not 5 or 6. You know, and
Yeah, no, I'm
unfortunately,
with you on that. I've got
falls-
Reddit,
it falls-
Facebook,
yeah, yeah.
Reddit, Facebook, and Instagram when I'm on the toilet, and that's it for me. Like Twitter, I barely go on it. You know, I'll jump on, post something, have a quick browse, and then jump off. But yeah, that's what I mean. And that's why I don't want to add threads, because then threads is just something else. Like I don't use TikTok. Fucking hate TikTok with a passion.
I like TikTok. TikTok and Facebook are my mains. You know,
Well,
I've learned to appreciate TikTok.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, people know about this, that I'm kind of suspended from Twitter because I
Still?
Yeah.
Still. I know I got permanently.
Is it lifetime ban?
Suspended. It's a lifetime ban, yeah. An IP ban.
Well, nice.
You badass motherfucker.
You're not missing
yeah, 'cause-
anything on there. Just rampant dickheads.
Well, the thing is that when I start wrestling, I might have to use it. But don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, it's dying. It's literally like I think it was yourself, Ginger, who used the Monty Python. It's not a dead bird. It was alive when I got it, or something like that. And it's like
Yeah, I
that's
posted
what it's
that meme from got the Gollum page where it's just like, yeah, it was alive when I got it, kind of thing, or some shit like that. Yeah, with Elon Musk and the dead parrot meme. Oh, that was fucking good. But that's what it is. It's just dying. Like I don't see the point of it. Mastodon, I'm never gonna fucking use because they're confused.
Yeah, masturbate.
Masturbate.
I mean,
Fucking
yeah, I can't get with that. Listen, guys, I can't do it. 2:30 is my limit. Yeah, unless you're ending the stream now.
I'm ending this. I'll end it in a bit, but you can jump off if you want, and I'll just go on for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary.
Hi, mate.
Yeah, I'll stay up for that.
I saw your name. Yeah, Birdman Boko Haram. Great.
Yeah, there you go. All right, then, guys. I'll see you later.
So-
Bye-bye.
See you, mate. Take care. What was we talking about?
You were talking about
Twitter dying and all this
yeah.
kind of shit. And
I
yeah,
do
like,
agree with you about Mastodon. Mastodon is bloody confusing as fuck.
it's confusing. I don't know how to sign on to it. It's just like you got to jump on this one and that one. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you.
It's confusing.
I'm not here
Like-
to. Yeah, I don't care enough. Like,
it's like a nerd stream. I'm sure there's somebody who knows how to maybe go through all the different gates that you have to go through.
yeah, exactly. It's just like, fuck. You know what? I don't care. Like, just give me my space back. I'll take my space. That was the apex of social media. I fucking loved it. But yeah, I mean, just like, I don't think I'll sign up to Threads. TikTok, I'll never fucking use TikTok.
I might sign up to Threads when I start working, and that'll be it.
Yeah, if it grows, yeah, go on.
I was just say, like, you know, but I do agree with you that though, like, sending all this into that Zuckerberg doesn't give me the ick. But you know,
yeah, because I just don't like how he curates things, and he makes a mess of everything as well, and it's a pain in the ass. Now then, WrestleMania UK. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we'll ever get it?
I think it's more likely than not. Let's be put that way. If I was to be a betting man, I'd say probably about 80% because of how well AEW does. I mean, like AEW has only been in business what 4 years?
4 years.
And they more or less sold it out to the fact that I think it was Schroeder who said that they're going to maybe extend it. So if they do that, and they filled that, flame it out. WWE would be stupid not to go for it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think though I do agree with what you both said that I don't think Wembley Stadium would be the best place for it. I think somewhere like the Olympic Stadium or the City of Manchester Stadium or something or Mary Murrayfield or something like that where it's got a closable roof or something like that could be better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, like I fucking hate getting down to Wembley. It's a pain in the ass. Can't park anywhere. I hate using the Metropolitan line. It's always unpredictable. And so getting to Wembley is a nightmare. I mean, it's not far from my house. It's like 40 minutes, but I just hate going there. Whereas the Olympic Stadium is a 20-minute train journey for me. The train stops right outside the fucking Olympic Stadium. But it's not that. if you have an athletic competition, yeah, maybe later, Zam. If we have an athletic competition, that stadium can go to 80,000. That's 80,000 on people sitting around the side of the stadium. You can easily put the capacity up to 100,000 on the Olympic Stadium if you put on a wrestling event, because obviously they can use the turf and all of that kind of shit. And that's why it makes sense. It has fantastic transport links for everyone. There's great places to stay and all that. Wembley's location is just it's just of a bygone era that is just crap. The transport links are crap to it. Places to stay around there are fucking crap, and WWE needs to buck the trend and do the Olympic Stadium or up in Manchester. I prefer if they did it up north, because there's an excuse for me to fucking go up north. Because if WrestleMania comes to the UK, I'm definitely gonna go. Like it's one of those where I can't not go.
Do you know what? I'll go as well. I'll go as well. Because the thing is that it's one of those things where we don't really get that many huge events, and if they do WrestleMania here,
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, do you know what? I'm going to say something that I don't often say. Good on Tony Khan for bringing it here, as it's selling out. Because I mean, good on them. I mean,
yeah, because it lit a fire. It lit a fire up WWE's ass to say like, oh shit, okay. Because Vince will always copy the competition. They always pretend like they don't care, but they always copy the competition because he lacks any kind of originality. Now, it's on Vince's ass that he's never brought WrestleMania over here, because we've seen that it can be done. And the biggest problem is obviously because WWE gets paid to have the events hosted at their cities. That's fine. Like London can easily afford to host WrestleMania. It ain't that fucking much money in the grand scheme of things compared to like hosting the Olympics, for fuck's sake. All right, so and a representative from some board of London said, "Yeah, we're open to some sports thing of London." Said, "Yeah, we are open to have discussions with WrestleMania about bringing it here." So it's going to happen. I just hope it doesn't happen too late. Like within the next 2-3 years, they'll do it. And I'll say, yeah, 100% kudos to Tony Khan for doing it. And we're going to see way more shows taking place here, because Europe, the UK, is a huge fucking market, and it's untapped potential that they've always underestimated.
Well, like ICW, when it used to be like much bigger than it is now. No offense, sorry, don't be bad at me, Matt Dallas. But when he used to tour and stuff like that, he used to like do like major stadiums because like it had a fan base that it was tapping into. Wrestling fans here are still mad for it. It's an untapped market, and that's why like the indie shows here are doing really well. Like
especially up north. And when I say up north, I include the Scottish market as well.
Definitely. The problem is ICW is just pretty well here.
Yeah, they keep thinking they're too London centric, and it's like rugby. When we talk about rugby, I'm like, rugby events should be held up north, not down at fucking Twickenham. All right, rugby, like the South doesn't care about rugby, the North does. The same with wrestling. The South has a big market for wrestling, but the North is where all the biggest and best and most fans are. And so personally, if I was doing WrestleMania or any WWE events, I'd focus up there. The better crowds are up there and all of that. Just hold it in a stadium that you can get 100,000 people in, because they'll sell out in no time. And on that note, I'm just going to say one more thing, and then we can end the show. I've done over 200 hours of Breath of the Wild, and there's still 1,000,001 things to do in that game. Fucking insane.
Is it a good game? Or I'm going to ask you a question now. I don't say I'm trying to say, but has the mechanics around the fighting ruined the game?
No, it's still shit. No, it's when you're fighting hard enemies.
No, what I'm saying is, has that ruined the game for you though?
No, it hasn't ruined the game. It hasn't ruined the game for me, but it stops the game from being a 10 out of 10. But the puzzle aspect, the exploratory aspect, the collecting aspect of it, the construction aspect of it, the traversing, all this kind of shit, are all the elements that make the game phenomenal. The combat and the camera suck dick, but if you have the more powerful weapons, you can at least get rid of the combat really, really quickly. But they're not the biggest part of the game. You know, the combat thing, you can avoid combat the more you go and just do it where there's places to unlock certain things. But all the other stuff on it, they're just like, and I keep finding out new fucking shit all the time. And I'm watching videos, like so many different videos on things that you can construct and do. Like the other day, I found out something simple, like you attach a rocket to your shield, and then when you go to block, it just fires you up in the air, and just fucking fire up into the air with your rocket. And I'm just like, it's little things like that. Like, I just love that fucking game.
Yeah, the thing is that I can't get as somebody who's not played this game is why they've attached that shitty melee system.
Hang on.
To it. Oh,
sorry, say that again.
I said, as somebody who has never played the series, really, but has heard you go on about how good the game is, it seems like they've ruined what could have been basically a perfect game with that shitty melee system they've attached to it.
Yeah, the weapon degradation is one of the worst additions to a game ever made. Like, if I rated Breath of the Wild, I've rated Breath of the Wild as initially a 7 out of 10, then I downgraded it to a 5 out of 10 because that game got fucking tedious. And this one, I would rate it at an 8 out of 10. With because there is no excuse for stamina and weapon degradation. They ruin it. These are elements in the game that actually don't add anything good. They feel like a mobile game. Now I'm just going to play this clip for Zam, so just bear with me. Share video. Oh no, not that. Share screen. Yeah, this one. Here we go. All right.
That's pretty well done.
Yeah, I'm not going to play the thing so we don't get that is great de-aging.
It's better than the de-aging that actually happens in Dial of Destiny.
No, most of it's really good in Dial of Destiny. Like, they did a great job. There's just some areas where you could tell, but for the most part, I think they did a great job, to be honest. But yeah, that's great. I'll get rid of that. Bring us back. There you go. Just to make. But like, for me, I always say I do not understand how they could get Kurt Russell so perfect in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and have never bested it. And that film came out in, what was it, 2018?
16, 17?
No. I think, yeah, 17 or 18, because it was just before Endgame came out. So it was around 18, or I think it was 2018 that game came out. That film came out, and they've never bested it. That's 5 years ago, and because they haven't put enough time in it. I mean, they did a good job in Mandalorian with Luke Skywalker the second time round when he popped up in the Boba Fett series, and that's why they should have just done the whole fucking film with a de-aged Indiana Jones. It would have been a wonderful surprise, and they could have just done more like that. You know, could they just get the digital scanning of Harrison Ford and he could just do the voice acting? The only bad thing with the film is that you could tell it's an old Harrison Ford because they didn't modulate the voice to make him sound younger. So again, lazy oversight by fucking Disney. But the other upsetting thing we're seeing a de-aged Indiana Jones is that I am sad that we didn't get at least 6 Indiana Jones films with Harrison Ford in his prime, because I thought that was a shame, because they would have just had wonderful, just having or even 5 Indiana Jones films set in the not set in the 80s, from the 80s era, maybe the 90s, but it is what it is. And on that note, I think I'm going to end the stream there. We were going for 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It was impromptu. We were meant to do it yesterday, but there was too many things.
Before we end?
Yeah, go for it.
I was going to say thank you very much for this. I really needed it.
That's all right. That's why I did it, for you and for Sam to kind of vent and get things off your chest and have an outlet, because I know I've been there. Yeah, Sam Jackson and Captain Marvel was good, actually. To be fair, I'll give him that.
You know,
But
that's
no,
actually good,
yeah, it was. It was near. That's why I thought it was a good idea to just do what we didn't do yesterday. And yesterday nobody was in a good space. I was unwell yesterday as well. So I thought today we're all feeling a bit whatever. We want to vent or talk or all of that. So yeah. And on that note, thank you to everyone that joined me, to my co-hosts Jazz and Zamo. And Vance, as always, your commentary is welcome. We love it. And I'll see you motherfuckers for the next one. Toodle and